like selling their decent like gaming headphones for like $30 or $40.
That is not too shabby though.
I saw some cheap ones yesterday at Best Buy. They were supremely underpriced. It was
Yeah.
I was gonna get them, but I was like,
that'd be the only reason I get them is because it was so drastically cheap that it's worth it, right? Like I don't need them bad enough to play online or anything. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've got these Marleys I got. They were $70 regular, and they were on for $20 at Shoppers Drug Mart.
Nice.
Yeah, so I snagged these, and they've been my go-to for the longest time now.
Yeah, it's just hard to justify. I don't know. Some stuff like that's hard for me to justify buying. So it's nice when it gets to drop down to nothing.
Yeah, that's the way. Because like I'm too cheap. It's like I'm not broke enough to complain, but I'm too cheap, so I will complain.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too.
Oh, at Hansum Dan.
Yeah, man. Number 2 in a long time, hey?
And at Backside Attack. Yeah, number 2 in a while, right? Holy crap.
Yeah.
So how you guys feeling? You guys made your lists? Did you check them twice?
Yeah. I mean, well, I haven't necessarily made a list. Just kind of thought about what was going on over the last 8 months, really.
That's all right.
I mean, the first 2 months just don't seem like anything of 2020.
Yeah, it was like nothing happened. And then a fire started.
We're just getting ready for a shitty winter.
Yes. And then Australia lit up cell phone.
I don't even remember February, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
No, the whole year to me started March 14th.
Yeah.
February was fairly tame, and then all of a sudden, like, we're going to lock down. And then shit just like...
So, like, what were we doing?
And then all the toilet paper was gone.
This is real life?
Yeah. Okay, so what we'll do is I've got a few things on the list. So I made, like, a list of, like, all sorts of random shit.
Okay.
Like, good stuff, bad stuff, things that made us happy, things that made us upset. Kobe died. Oh, John Huber died yesterday. That sucked, too. And then, huh? No, I said John Huber. John Huber, that wrestler, Brody Lee. He was like big in a couple of different wrestling. Hey, that's for me. That's not for you guys.
Oh, okay.
That's for me.
that's a special place in your heart.
Special place.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be a one-man conversation.
Cool, man. And then I've just got like bests of TV, movie, whatever event. If you guys have like a best of, worst of.
Yeah, shit, hey?
Yeah, but it's not a big deal.
What came out? Did they try to put anything out over the summer?
I think like
some movies. Nothing monumental, but
no. We've beaten Tenet up to death. But
yeah, and Wonder Woman, I guess, was another big one, which was...
I think that was a fail, though.
Did anybody watch that? Was it out on... Did it go in theaters, or did it go on Disney Plus?
No, HBO.
It just went out on HBO Max, and it got mixed reviews.
Yeah.
I can't see it being good.
Wasn't great.
Yeah, I thought the first one was trash.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys can all hear each other all right? Hold on a second.
Sorry, Vic, go ahead.
I said you guys can hear each other all right?
Yeah.
You can hear me okay?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Okay, cool, because I'm like farther away than you guys. So we'll just I think we'll just start.
Yeah, sure.
Instead
That's how we were.
Okay, well no, because we kind of rambled. If we start talking over each other, just put your hand up, and then like we'll all just stop. If you've got something you really want to get out, and we start doing the whole the thing that happens.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, like this is a pretty tight group, so we should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should I do the thing again? Should I do the at Backside Attack thing, and then at Hansum Dan, and then let's start.
Yep. Let's do it.
And then the what is it?
We
cut, go, action.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Clap sync.
Clap sync.
Do I need the clacker board? Oh, we're doing it's not another year-end show.
Mm-hmm.
So please don't.
Did you guys do one last year?
We did one last year.
Did you do kind of a wrap up?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. I kind of why 2020 is gonna be so great.
Oh, how foreboding!
How foreboding! We really talked up 2020, and then it bit us in the ass.
People did.
Everybody did.
Like, it's gonna be my year, bro. I never thought of it like that. I kind of did, but not as. I was still pretty lazy, but I was still thinking about it.
Well, you were hoping.
Yeah.
You had your fingers crossed.
I had hopes. Yeah.
Oh, how about you, Backside Attack?
I had high hopes for 2020, but it was just it went downhill immediately.
Yeah.
I
don't know. So fast.
Well, it starts out so rough. Like, I mean, it started out with like the fires, the forest fires in Australia.
Yeah. There was already the Hong Kong protests were becoming. The military was getting involved.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Hong Kong thing was happening.
Months. How many months had that? The protest is still going on. Also,
they're still going.
And there's no coverage of it, media coverage.
No.
But yeah, that was already going on for 6 months, I think.
By January, I think you were looking at it was in summer 2019. They were already in the streets.
Yeah.
I don't think it was bows and arrows yet.
No, but they had gotten the military like rallied up for takeover or something. I don't know. They showed like clips of it. But
yeah.
I'm obviously very ill informed. I just know that they'd still been protesting however long.
Oh man, but it was we didn't quite get it either yet. Like I don't think we understood like how bad it was. It was like Hong Kong wanted to be free and they were worried about China, and then China's like, we'll just drug you.
Yeah, don't worry about us. Everybody else, don't worry about us. We'll take care of this.
Well, that was a conspiracy theory, right? Like we heard about coronavirus coming out, and we thought maybe could they maybe be doing that?
Yeah.
And then
so sketchy.
And then it got super sketch. And then like a pangolin ate a bat, and then everybody got sick.
Yeah.
Well, I think like a bat shit on a pangolin, and then another pangolin ate that pangolin, and then somebody ate that pangolin, and then we all got sick.
It had to be a purple monkey dishwasher scenario.
Yeah.
Oh God, so gross.
Like 4 different animals ate 4 different dead animals and then caused it.
And it was just the worst.
That just snowballed, and the next thing you know, Trump's in charge of that whole thing, and it went. And then from there,
so exciting.
It was so exciting. It was, he cleanly he wrapped it up in a neat little package.
Yeah, and which he admitted to Bob Woodward, but didn't. But he hid it from the American people. And next thing you know,
right.
Yeah.
But he did like. There's a Bob Woodward tape of him talking about like I knew it was bad, but I had to hide it. I had to downplay it.
I didn't want to cause mass hysteria. I'm like, oh God, like only hundreds of thousands of lives could have, like tens of thousands of lives could have been saved.
Oh my God.
I wonder if the thing is though is I wonder who else like on the other side agreed with him, but was like, no, we'll let him take the fall.
Oh, I think
they have
huge.
no idea because no one knows what they're doing. None of them knows.
No.
Well, when he blocked China from traveling into the U.S.
Yeah.
Everybody pointed the finger like racist, and then immediately like look what's happening in the UK now. They're blocking the UK from traveling into other countries.
Yeah, like it's all everything he did was awful. And it's like, man, that guy has no fucking clue what's going on.
No idea.
Imagine being in charge of the country when that happens of any country, and then he's like the least qualified guy to be in charge of the country, and the worst possible thing could happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
you've got the dumbest guy and the worst scenario.
He probably just checked out. He's like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to wait till my pension comes in because they paid me to do this job anyway, and then he's just going to leave.
Oh, my God.
He has a whole plan. He's going to move to Russia.
I'll give Trump one thing, though. At least no wars were started during his tenure as president.
No shit, hey?
Yeah. Well, I was reading...
Like, no invasions, no... Because I know Bolton is a war hawk, but I guess when he was still under Trump, because he wanted to go guns blazing into the Middle East, but really? Trump actually told him like he even admitted on camera. He said, yeah, he's very hawkish. He really wants to go in there, but I had to calm him down. So and then it went full circle. John Bolton, as soon as he left office, wrote that book.
Yeah,
a little bit too late during the impeachment trial.
Well,
and,
I think that's he's covering his own
testify or anything. So Senate got away. The impeachment, the Senate let it slide. So
Trump got away with a lot of shit they tried to pin on him.
Oh man, Teflon's
I don't know if they deserved to pin it on him or what, but he dodged it. He was dodging it. Like,
yep.
And it's like they just kept making their case worse by giving him chances to slip like between their fingers.
Well, it's like the Democrats can't tie a noose.
They justified his defense, and it made him look more heroic in some people's eyes. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely solidified as like Teflon Don to all the people who were his base, right? That crazy group of like whatever you want to call them, the basket of whatever. But like they were in for the long haul. They were ride or die.
And that's what everyone's so scared about too. Is they're worried he has like people that will start a civil war in his behalf, even though he doesn't ask them to do it.
Well, you just had that weird Nashville bomb.
That will, right?
Like Nashville just had that car bomb.
Yeah, which was what? I've been avoiding it because all I get is like meme news. I don't get any really good news about it, so I don't really want to watch the story.
Well, I mean,
it was a terrorist attack, and
they're thinking maybe domestic terrorism. Who knows,
the local guy.
They identified the guy who did it.
Yeah.
Well, is he identified?
Yeah, they found his remains, apparently.
Okay.
Actually, I did see a clip where they were like, we found his human remains, but then everyone that went on the stage, I just watched this, said, we are 100% sure it's only that one guy and no one else was involved. It's only him. I'm like, why is everybody making us, only his DNA was found at both sites. We know it's him. Everyone believes it's him. Don't think anything else.
Inside job.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird that was because if you look at the aftermath, I thought more people would have died because it was a huge. The damage was huge.
Well, the speaker announced the warning.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
I think there was a female. Was there a female voice that was counting down outside of it?
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
It had those speakers on the outside.
It just went off.
Yeah, so it was counting down like this. If you can hear this, leave the vicinity. There will be an explosion.
Died from the explosion.
Yeah, right? Come on.
I bet you his body was already in there, and they'd killed him 3 days prior and put him in a freezer, and then the timer went off early by mistake.
There's so much weird shit like that, though, right? Like, that's the kind of stuff that you hear about that happens, and you're like,
CIA shit.
Like, Jeffrey Epstein totally killed himself.
Yeah, and it's always the guy never survives. Nope. Guy never survives the attack that he did.
Never.
Blows himself up in the van.
Well, how come, like, when you go to the Middle East with them, like, all the bombers and the terrorists and the ISIS guys, like, they can organize a proper bombing? Like, are you telling me that?
Yeah.
Can't you domestic guys?
Yeah, how hard is it to blow yourself up?
Yeah.
Most of the guys who do it in North America do it by accident.
I don't think they want to. I think they're like they want to be a fucking super cool dude, and they all or that's why I always think that these dudes are staged or they're killed by the cops like later, so no one can talk to them.
Or they're probably putting the bomb together and they're like, oh shit, boom, and then they just
whoops.
They're just
he was still making it.
Not good at suicide bombing. They're the worst kind of suicide bombers.
So he just blew up. He just wanted to blow up an area of Nashville. They don't know what his intent was yet.
Well, I think it was like the AT&T building. No. Like he wanted to hit. I think the AT&T building might have been a target, and it was downtown next to like government buildings, right? So those might have been targets.
Okay.
But he didn't kill anybody, and 3 cops were injured. I think like within evacuating the area or like in the explosion, like 3 cops with like non-critical injuries.
Because it probably went off early or something.
Oh, it could be.
There was a shooting apparently a day or two ago too. Just now, 3 people are dead and 3 guys are wounded or something.
There was a shooting last night at a bowling alley. Yeah. And so the cops went in. They heard gunshots. The cops went in. They didn't even draw their weapons. They got the guy because he as soon as he found the cops were there, he hid his weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they found him. They took him into custody. I think one person got shot in the face, and they're okay. Like they're stable. A girl got shot in the shoulder. She was released already. And then 3 elderly people, the average age about 69, they were all killed.
Oh, brutal. Jeez. Yeah. Man, if you're gonna like open fire, just start with yourself. Like just start with yourself. Do the world a favor. Put on like a pretend bomb vest so you scare people, and then just blow your brains out, and then they can like be worried about whether or not you're gonna go, but you don't really go.
You can spook them.
Spook them. Yeah. Be a courteous suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Just
kill yourself.
Just kill yourself.
Yeah, but
wear a vest of hot dogs.
That's kind of what Trump is doing. He's like, I'm leaving, so might as well just burn everything in my path on the way out of here. So
pretty much.
He's pardoning a bunch of people or something.
Oh yeah,
everybody.
He pardoned a bunch of people. Yeah.
Were they good though? Was it like did he give away? But like, nice if he pardoned a bunch of drug guys that have been in jail for weed for 25 years. That'd probably be a good.
Nah, man, like Manafort.
Be a good place to start. But he started Comey. No, who was it? Who did he?
No, it wasn't Comey. It was the Nixon.
No, it wasn't Comey. Sorry,
it was the Richard Nixon tattoo.
The ostrich jacket.
The Richard Nixon tattoo. What's his name?
Yeah. Somebody Barr.
No, Barr left on his own. William Barr left on his own.
Though, right?
Yeah. Well, he's the attorney general
with the Nixon tattoo.
Yeah, he was. Right here. He wasn't a lawyer. He's like a consultant. He's like his chief.
I got it.
Yeah.
It's okay. So he let go Paul Manafort. That's his name.
No. Okay. Paul Manafort was recently, but the guy with the Richard Nixon tattoo is that freak show with the top hats and the monocles.
Yeah, he's like a celebrity.
So it was
provocateur guy.
Yeah. So it was Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, and Charles Kushner.
Jared's papa.
His son-in-law's dad.
Yeah.
For doing what?
I think it was a preemptive.
Hey, dude, Jared Kushner's the Omen guy. He has to be.
Well, here's the thing about Kushner, man.
That guy's weak.
The guy from the Omen becomes president, and he's the Antichrist.
Well, hold on a second. Like, if you look at all the stuff that Kushner has done, like while he was there, that you don't hear about, and then all the weird crap that he does, that's just weird. It's almost like he's balancing out all of his psycho behavior, like a 666 Park Avenue thing, with like peace talks in the Middle East. It's like, I'll make the Middle East peaceful, but I'm going to buy Satan's house.
Man, they said in those that's what the Antichrist will do, right? He'll mask his dominance with peace, right?
Yeah.
He'll unify the world through peace.
And nobody looked.
He's like, isn't he Jewish? He's pretending to be Jewish, so he doesn't seem so
Yep.
hostile,
Yeah.
you know, like.
But nobody
true.
looked weirder than Kushner wearing a bomb jacket and like a blazer over those khaki pants when he's in the Middle East, like just hanging out with his sunglasses
like
and
a,
shit.
like a bomb
Yeah.
flak vest,
Like a
thing?
flak jacket, yeah.
Like a flak jacket over, like underneath his blazer, over a polo shirt and khaki pants.
He
Like-
probably thought it looked more badass.
Oh, he was the most
Yeah,
stylish,
exactly.
the most stylish Damien you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
That was pretty sad.
Oh, it's gross. Hey, so let's see what else
Yeah.
we had. How did we start the year? We had Soleimani. Remember they bombed him.
Yeah, that was like a hit.
That was like a total
Like a
hit.
militarized hit. How did that not start a war, man?
That's
I
gotta
bet
be.
you there isn't any war to start. They probably just killed a guy that they're like, oh well, you know, it'll make us better. He probably didn't even know that was coming. He probably hadn't done anything in
Jump
months.
is the hero we need right now. He killed that guy who was going to make us look really bad.
Yeah.
They took him out. But no, I mean, I think you're right though. I think like what were you going to start? Because really, it's mutually assured destruction at that point. Are you gonna nuke them? Because they're gonna nuke it back. Then everybody's dead.
Doctor Strangelove, man.
Ugh, it's so
Yeah.
gross. And then
I
man,
love that movie.
which
love that
exactly
movie.
right?
Yeah.
Just riding a bomb wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so relevant nowadays.
Oh, today especially, right? Holy mackerel! What was I just watching something? Oh, Victor Lucas, who's an Electric Playground guy. He just posted something Stan Lee had written at the turn of the century, I think, like 15 years ago, that was just relevant to today. Like, hey, you know, the times don't change. Kids don't get crazier. The situation changes, and we adapt to the crazy, and everybody's crazy. And it's like, it was just so like,
Oh God.
it was relevant to 15 years ago, and it was relevant to today with the way it was written.
Wrote that?
Yeah, Stan Lee did one of those Stan soapbox write-ups. Like, if you go to Victor Lucas's Instagram page, it's on there.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those weird things when you realize, like, nothing ever really changes. We just act like it's the first time it's ever happened.
Weird.
Maybe Trump was
It's weird how everything seems like, oh, that thing from the 50s and 60s is relevant right now. It's like maybe because it always was.
It was always relevant.
Not cyclical.
Cyclical.
It's always been relevant.
It's like the
It's
civil
always
rights
been
movement
relevant,
has
yeah.
always been relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I always talk about Barney Miller. Like, if you watch it's on CTV, the CTV Go app. If you watch the old Barney Miller show, some of the stuff that he talks about, or that police department will talk about in that show, all you have to do is move the setting to 2020 and don't change anything. You keep the races of the people who are in it the same, you keep the setting the same, and you keep them as they're all working in a police precinct. Keep the scripts exactly how they are, and it's watchable today. To today. It's odd.
Yeah, that's weird.
And that was like 1972 to 1982. Like, it was like a long-running show.
You'd almost, to get that experiment to work, you'd have to do it every decade.
Oh, for sure.
To see if there was like a massive difference, or like, oh, none of these jokes make sense, or none of this is relevant, you know, like, because there is shit I know that's very dated, right? Like, there is stuff I've come across that's incredibly dated, but
issues pertaining to like class warfare and race. Those are always relevant.
Always relevant. It's always like the poor and the marginalized will always have a voice in television if you tell the story properly, and that story can go through every decade.
That's true, actually. Because there's always going to be that group of people that exist.
Oh, for sure. Hey, on lighter stuff, when the pandemic hit, was there anything you guys watched that you binged? Because like everybody's binging, right? Like say around March-ish.
Yeah, a few shows. I went through where I decided I was going to pick all those old, like teen, like heartthrob films from the 80s and 90s that I avoided because I'm like, I got to see what this is about because I hated them and they were fucking terrible. Like watching them made exact sense why I never watched them.
16 Candles.
Like 16 Candles
terrible.
And the Heathers. Heathers is actually interesting.
It's not terrible.
But what a fucking weird movie! Like Christian Slater is like a psychopathic kid, and so weird. Not what I expected. I thought it was. I thought Heathers were like that was the epitome of the bimbo blonde girls in school that everyone hated, like Mean Girls, right?
Yeah. It's a little bit more meaningful than Mean Girls, but weird.
What is 16 Candles was with Ducky, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I hated Ducky. Yeah, like everyone's like, everyone's sympathetic for that character. He's the worst character in the film. He's a psychopath.
Yeah, Ducky is a stalker.
Like he's not, and someone really famous apparently almost got cast as that role when it came out, and they like were glad they never took it.
Oh no way!
Someone like Robert Downey Jr. or something fucked up like that. Like
maybe. I mean, that was like a star maker for John Cryer though.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it got. Yeah, that's true. But who else? Okay, so 16 Candles. I saw Breakfast at Tiffany, or not Breakfast at Tiffany.
Breakfast
Club a million times.
Yeah.
There was like 2 or 3 other ones that were crap.
Here's a question: did you watch Weird Science?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I loved it because
I love Weird Science.
I love 80s sexy stuff, like the 80s sex appeal. I don't know why I'm so fascinated with that.
Side
the only
boob.
thing out of the 80s I think is good.
Underboob.
Yeah, underboob. The fitness outfits. They're so overdone. Everything's so pornographic. It's so great.
Man, every dame in those movies was like a car model.
Yes.
Was like like wheels of steel on the hood of a car. Tawny Katane.
Yeah, and or like a beer model, or like Kathy Ireland. Yeah,
Kathy,
Ireland. Yeah, like she was a classic 80s supermodel, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What else? I got to season 5 in Buffy.
Oh, get out of town!
I just shut it off. I've already seen Buffy a bunch of times.
Yeah, you know what? I've never done like a straight through. I was always like a pick and chooser. Like I'd watch 1 week, then miss like 3 weeks.
It gets better. It's just you can tell when the budget goes up, right? Like you can tell they get more money as the show gets a little better. But you overlook all the shittiness. It's a fun show. It's a Joss Whedon show, you know. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
some of the fight scenes are god awful, but
man, you can always tell when what's her name, the Cynthia Rothrock. Yeah, because Cynthia Rothrock was a stunt double, I think.
Yeah, here she would turn her face and the hair would go in front of her face every
time.
Yeah.
She was a legit martial artist, and what's her name, Buffy was not.
No, and she even took that, like, as they got the budget for it, she started to take stunt training and fight training just to try and make her parts look a little more believable.
Yeah.
So she took it pretty seriously, which is cool, and they got the opportunity to do that.
Hey, just real quick here. I think something is like rubbing, like your shirt is rubbing your mic.
Oh shit, yeah, sorry, it fell down.
There you go. Okay, cool. And that's like making a ton of noise. But while you're doing that, at Backside Attack, what was your binge? Yeah. What did you get into?
What did I binge watching?
Yeah, because like you're locked down, like the rest of us. I mean, I know you're a vigilante at nighttime, but like when you're in the daytime resting from your vigilante duties.
Yeah, like Dan said, I actually went back to some 80s movies that I haven't seen in a long time. One that I watched was you just mentioned Robert Downey Jr. I watched Less Than Zero.
Oh, that's not bad.
Less Than Zero.
Yeah, that's written by Bret Easton Ellis. He wrote American Psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's in that, and it has Andrew McCarthy, Jamie Gertz, what's his face, James Spader. It has a bunch of 80s when they were young.
That's a Brat Pack movie.
Yeah, really cool movie. I saw True Believers. So I just kind of like went on the 80s binge, and then on Netflix I just watched that video game documentary.
That's right. There's a series, right?
Yeah, what's it called?
Like they covered all the vintage games, or was it like?
It covers like how video games came to be, basically from their like. There's the Street Fighter. It's a doc. What's it called?
It's a series on Netflix, but basically it starts off like kind of like how that Atari ET documentary started. It's got the same people in it, but it's an entire series, and it just goes along like the highs and lows of the gaming industry, pretty much from the birth of Atari.
And the eras and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's called. You know what? This is going to bother me if I don't search this up for you guys.
Well, he's going to have to
It's so funny the way things are nowadays. I don't think anybody would have imagined 20 years ago, talking about the industry the way it is, like with something like Cyberpunk happening and like...
Oh, for sure.
The delay of games and then the complaints and the outcries and everyone's fucking... And then there's sexism in video games. Like, who'd have thought the guys making Atari would be like, fuck, we're dealing with sexism.
Yeah, I mean, back then, right?
That.
No,
the show is called High Score.
High Score. That's right.
Cool.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that documentary. It's so great. It has the creators of all the games. Like there's the guy who created Doom. Like there's a Street Fighter episode.
Mortal Kombat.
Online multiplayer. How that got how that came to be. It's crazy. It's such a good series, and the theme is all like 80s inspired. The music, everything.
Yeah, highly
recommend it. It's on Netflix. I'd recommend it.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I got into the first episode because you were talking about it. I just I got right into The Witcher. I think as soon as I started watching the first episode of that, so I kind of let it go. But man, it's really tight. It's really good.
I did watch The Witcher as well. I went through that.
What'd you think? What'd you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think what else did I watch? And I like Vic knows I've talked about this like enough times. I did brave the theater to go see Tenet twice.
That's right.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. What else did I watch? I got rid of Net. Yeah, but it also 2020 also killed Netflix for me.
Yeah, you let go of Netflix altogether.
Yeah, because you just bleed it dry. You're just like, how many times can I watch, Trailer Park Boys or whatever it is. Like, so,
I got rid of it because I got to the point where I was literally just rewatching all the Miyazaki films over and over and over again because it was there. I'd fall asleep watching them, and then I went, why do I even have this? And I downsized, sort of. Like, I have Amazon and Disney still, but Disney is even, or not Amazon, not Disney, but Amazon's still, somewhat relevant because of the movie selection.
Yeah.
But I still hate the fact that I have more than a few different subscription services. I can't justify it, but.
Well, I mean, like, for me, I got rid of cable entirely about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I did the whole NVIDIA Shield Android TV build, so I'm just running the antenna. That's it.
Nice.
I've got the antenna. I've got my own DVR set up, so all that really works out well for me. So I can kind of justify the Netflix and a few other ones. I had to
that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, to the point now where I had to, like, I was talking to Backside Attack last week about how that junk food TV thing, that's what I started doing on Netflix a lot. And it started with that Tiger King, man. Tiger King was just...
Yeah, that was... I watched that during COVID, too. I avoided it, and I was like, fuck, let's just do it.
Pretty brilliant, though.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, though, because apparently what that did was... there's people out there that do, like, kind of obviously editorial shit, and they started pointing out how a lot of these documentaries are filmed a certain way now.
Yeah.
Just to be attention grabbing.
Yeah.
And like the Bulls one, that one was great, right? I loved watching that. But
the Bulls one is excellent. Yeah,
they that could have been 6 episodes shorter. They really stretch it out, stretch the story, and stretch it, and it's very unnecessary. So it's like become a way to make documentary episodes now, which is kind of a waste of time.
Well, the one thing I didn't mind about Tiger King though is that how it was. There are no heroes. Like, if anybody watches that show to try to, make a hero out of any one of those characters.
Those people are all awful in real life.
Yeah,
right?
they're all villains.
It comes down to. There's no good guy there.
Yeah, there's no... that's it.
I think maybe it's just a reminder, but there are fucked up people out there, and this is what is going on in the world out there.
Oh, for sure.
Like, people, like, having, like, tiger... like
weird lifestyles.
But in your own backyard.
Animals, like, it's disgusting.
Like, literally in your backyard. I mean, that guy...
Well,
like,
then they say that thing that comes up multiple times on Joe Rogan, how the majority of the owned tigers in the world are in Texas alone.
Yeah, there are more tigers in Texas in captivity than there are in the wild in the rest of the world.
Yeah, or I think it's almost as many in Texas as there are in India.
No. There's definitely more in Texas. There's more in the United States, continental United States, definitely. But I think just Texas. There are more exotic animals and definitely more tigers than anywhere else in the world combined. All the rest of the countries in the world combined don't have as many tigers as Texas.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's crazy. Well, they just lifted the ban. Like, hey, it's 1970. Clock's ticking. Yeah. Get as many of those things.
There's so many celebrities that want tigers right now. We might as well let them come in, happen. They got
it's everything though. It's tigers.
Mike Tyson could say I'm the one who started it. So.
No, wasn't that one family that? The documentary with them.
The movie Roar. It's.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I thought Tyson was the. Well, I thought Tyson popularized it.
No, actually, you're at your computer now. There, Backside Attack. Take a look at the movie Roar from the 70s. Was it Neil Marshall? God, no, I'm getting that wrong.
Who's the girl that's like a famous actress now? That
Melanie Griffith.
She got bit several times.
Melanie Griffith.
Yes.
Melanie Griffith's mother and father. The lion's name was Neil. I think the one that got her. But they lived with like a family of animals.
It's 1981. Neil Marshall directed it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, wrote it. And American adventure comedy film produced and directed by Noel Marshall. Wrote Roar story of Haig, a naturalist who lives on a natural nature preserve in Africa with lions, tigers, and other big cats.
Now that's the movie, but in real life, they literally lived like for a few years at least with these gigantic cats in their house,
in their mansion, like in their houses and stuff.
Like if there's photos of Melanie Griffith as a kid with like 2 gigantic tigers in her bed, just like you would in Great Danes. That was cool back then, apparently,
to own weird exotic animals.
Right? It's crazy, man.
Like they normalized it in some weird way, but it wasn't normal. They'd be like getting hurt all the time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, times have changed. Yes, back then it was the Wild West.
It was the Wild West, man. Speaking of Wild West. We were talking about this last time, like the Wild West of YouTube. That for me was one of those things I noticed this year. So the amount of YouTube I watched in the lockdown, there is no more Wild West of YouTube.
No, it's not. Hey, it's not. It's very controlled and like.
Oh yeah.
Again, when you let advertisers dictate the content that comes out, that's when it does it. Look at television. Television is solely dictated by what the advertisers.
Yeah.
And as soon as then YouTube's like, give me that fucking money. They're going to decide what everything that goes out on there.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's become so frustrating. Like, why aren't you just relying on, like, people pay for it, and, like, you don't need those advertisers. You control them. You should be controlling the advertisers.
That's the Netflix model, right? Where all of a sudden Netflix is like, well, you pay us $10 a month, and these guys can do whatever they want.
Imagine if, like, YouTube does that.
If they did it.
Imagine the people that do actually pay for YouTube.
Yeah.
And, like, how much money they're making off of just regular shit, and they still are like, no, we want more.
That's the thing,
we
right?
want ad money.
They're getting an income from their subscriber base, and they're getting an income from the ad revenue they're getting.
Yeah. And it should be, if the advertiser doesn't want to advertise on that person's channel, then don't.
Yeah, walk away, man.
It's like, fine, then good luck finding a channel to advertise on that doesn't offend you.
Yes. Because you're not going to
advertise for that Walmart kid.
Well, that little Asian kid who does all the toys.
Well, yeah, makes billions of dollars apparently.
Man, I was in Walmart today getting some stuff for my niece and nephew, and he's got like a toy line on the shelves now.
Oh my god! Just like approved toys by that kid.
Yeah, but it's lame. It's like basically a gigantic Kinder Surprise egg. You pop it open and you get like a bar of soap and a cardboard cutout, and that kid's face is on it.
Him, right?
Yeah, and then you get to be him.
Do your own YouTube channel and then become your own YouTube sensation for Walmart.
Yeah. And that kid's making billions of bucks a year on ad revenue.
Are.
Well, his parents. You're right. His parents are.
Yeah.
That kid, like what's the law? Coogan's? Is it Coogan's Law?
What's that?
It's do you remember what's it called, Uncle Fester from the Addams Family? He was Jackie Coogan, right? When he was a kid, he was the kid from The Tramp, the Charlie Chaplin movie as well.
Okay.
And his parents like just basically took his money and ran. They took all of his money and took off. And it was I think Coogan's Law is now it's like what you have to set parameters to how much kids can work and how much money gets set aside.
Oh.
That you've got to put aside. Because
I don't believe that also. I think they get to optionally sign that because look at Britney.
Look at that.
Like look at who else? Macaulay Culkin, all those kids. Like their money's gone.
Well, I think Culkin did all right, but a lot of those other kids like around his age group, like in that era, like I don't think they did so well.
No,
I think you're right.
Like his career was washed up, and he's probably comfortable.
Yeah.
But like he's not a private citizen with wealth by any means compared to like other people that survived. Like DiCaprio was a child star.
That's right.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, he had growing pains money.
But he carried on with his career. He's like, no, I'm not a child star.
That's right.
He didn't get fully molested and drug addicted like the rest of them when they were molested, so he got through it.
I don't know.
He aged too fast for
he's
them,
awfully pretty.
Those old producers from the 90s.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
He got too tall and he got too big, and he probably knew how to kick somebody in the nuts. He probably had like a little bit of the DiCaprio kung fu, and he's able to keep himself safe enough.
River Phoenix killed himself. He left a note for DiCaprio to tell him to not let them do it to him. And,
don't get diddled.
And the other guys kept taking the growth hormone drugs to keep them looking young.
Oh, the anti-aging,
anti-aging stuff.
The bone, the estrogen.
Convinced them that their careers would be over unless they stayed as child actors.
They're basically ladyboyed out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That kid, that toy reviewer, Ryan.
Is that the one?
Yeah. He's worth $22 million.
Yeah, like what?
And he does,
and like I hope his parents are smart. Maybe there's a deal where like Walmart won't pay them like the full amount until he's released from his contract or something.
Coogan's Law.
So they aren't rich yet, but they will be once he ages out when he's like 12.
Well, 12.
He has 12,
I was going to give him 18
12 billion views on YouTube.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It is ridiculous. I think
they also say that a lot of that shit is like algorithm like falsified. Like you know how back there was that whole rumor about YouTube channels were getting like false views from fake channels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they drum up, they pad their likes and shit, so they had to rechange the whole structure. Well, there's rumors that that's what's been happening too. Is Walmart basically pads his views to push him to top trending, and then it obviously happens naturally.
The YouTube version of a bot.
Yeah, because the controversy is when you look at the Alex Jones episode on Joe Rogan that came out, and it got like 10 plus million views or downloads or something.
It was a lot. It was like 12, 10 and 12.
Yeah, and it was nowhere near the top trending. Like they pushed it down in the trending because they didn't want people to look at Alex Jones.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
When it's like clearly they're in control of it, right?
So, 100%. Anybody who defends the fact that they're like anybody says, "Oh, they're not in control. It's what happens." All bullshit, man. It's a private corporation that has an ability to control their private corporation.
Yes, they're going to do it.
They're going to do it.
Yep.
And it's not against their terms and conditions either.
No.
Like, they probably have it in there.
Yeah, it's not like, if you start a fire and then somebody comes in and throws some wood on it, it gets bigger. Like, what are you doing? It's like, no. Yeah. They've got all the parameters set to put that fire out or throw more gasoline as much as they want.
Yeah,
they're in control.
ready.
Yeah. No, it's a gong show over there at YouTube. I was bummed out in a way too, because I remember the Wild West of YouTube, and it was like you could watch a video, and the first thing on is like, don't watch this video or a ghost will haunt you. And all that shit's gone now, man. Like
Yeah,
all the really
that
weird crap.
shit is out of there.
Yeah.
You can't watch fake news.
You can't watch fake
What
news.
do you mean? What if I just want to watch funny shit or like weird shit? Like that's what YouTube's for.
Oh man.
The content
Oh.
creators too have changed too, because now you can't just go on there and be some weirdo that gets three views. They don't even let you do that anymore.
Exactly.
You have to be an official content creator, and like the funny thing is, I have an old YouTube channel that this is basically my account.
Yeah.
That, but I only used it. Like I never uploaded videos to it, so I could probably start uploading shit to that channel, and no one would notice it, and I could put the worst offensive stuff on there, and
Snuff
no one's gonna know.
No one's gonna know. Yep.
No, because it could be private, or it'll get different views. Yeah, like
You could be doing snuff films of blow up dolls.
yes,
And nobody would know.
I should just start uploading like incredibly sexually explicit stuff on there.
Oh, for
just
sure.
to see how far it goes and see if anyone notices, and then if it does, make it private and just send like invites to people if they want to watch it. Just see how long I can drag it out before I get sued or something.
One of those like clickbaity titles too that you put on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll never believe what's on this video.
You never believe who gets snuffed out in this video. It's just a blow up doll getting like a paintball gun to the mouth.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm just sitting on a couch for like 6 hours, not moving, just sitting there.
What was the dude who used to do the Star Wars videos? He chained the thing to the radiator.
Oh, the Red Letter Media guy?
Red Letter Media guy. You just do the chain to a radiator the entire time for like 6 hours.
Yeah, just have a girl chained to a radiator, or have a blow up doll chained to a radiator.
Yeah, a blow up doll.
And occasionally you see like a silhouette of someone walk by behind the camera, but you never know if they're really a person there or not or anything.
Brutal. I will. I'll move this along to how the year kept going along. I know at Backside Attack had a rough one with Kobe. Kobe was one that kind of happened in 2020.
Yeah.
And that was
was that during lockdown again, or when did that happen?
That was January.
January.
Yeah, January 2020. Just before we locked it down, we got hit with probably like the first thing that really happened that was like in the news cycle. Was like, oh no, 2020 might suck. Kobe died.
Yeah.
What are the rumors that he was killed? I haven't heard any.
No, I think
do they exist?
I think it was just accidental, man.
It was just helicopter crash.
Everyone's fine with that. Hey, no one's bringing up that they think it's odd that he's flown dozens of times and is the same helicopter with same people.
He was shutting down a human trafficking ring, and his cover was that he was like, you know,
he
diddling
was
some
chasing down a
broad.
Wayfair truck.
Yes.
Yeah,
And they knew.
I think conspiracy theories were like going on like maybe like a couple of months, maybe a month or two after it happened.
Okay.
But
Really?
after that, I think there was just I think there was just too much like they're like, you know what, it's late to rest. Like you shouldn't treat like it kind of tarnishes.
It would be
Yeah.
pretty disrespectful to do that. Like turning a guy that was a really, really good actor into the only thing you can remember him for is Black Panther. He died a hero as Black Panther, even though he wasn't. It's just a movie character.
Just a character. A decent human being. He was
Thankfully, someone said that.
yeah.
Dude, I can't, to this day, I can't believe how no one notices that all they did was immortalize Black Panther like he died.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They
I
didn't
was
immortalize that guy. They immortalized the character.
talking to Backside Attack about that whole thing. Like this is there. Remember, like in the '80s, when they killed Captain Marvel off,
Yeah.
and it was like the cancer thing, and now they've like immortalized Captain Marvel because some writer was maybe like Jim Starlin was like, "Hey, give him cancer. He dies, doesn't come back," and they immortalized him. Chadwick Boseman, in his death, handed them this gift. Like you just hand them like you're gonna immortalize Black Panther, and you're like your whole movie universe is gonna have this like gift of a death that you're just gonna like milk it. You're gonna milk it for as much as you can.
And they also said too, what this does. I don't know if I've told you this or brought this up with you. Someone else brought this up on a YouTube channel where now if you type Black Panther into Google, you don't get any of the activist stuff anymore. It's pushed down so far.
Wow!
They've almost inadvertently erased any trace of the Black Panther like movement. With the movie.
I'm just gonna
see how hard it is for you to look up. Maybe I'm wrong, but
The
I know
first thing that comes up is the movie.
Said it.
Yeah.
But like anything Black Panther starts,
No
like
more
your searches are just for
Oh
the
my god!
movies.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's like
no more berets and leather jackets.
It does. Yeah, on the first page, it doesn't show. It's all either that movie, trailers for it, Twitter reviews. The next one, what they're going to do, what his position was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
right?
What movies it's tied to, and the fact that he's dead.
That's it.
And probably that. Yeah, they probably don't even have. I wonder.
No, like
how far down you go, but yeah, like that's. Did they do that on purpose or?
Yeah.
You never know, right? I mean, you know what could be? It could be a happy coincidence for people who are terrified of a black planet. Like it could be one of those things.
Yeah.
Like, you know what?
Woo, thank God they made Black Panther white friendly.
Now they're gonna have a character called the Black Lives Matter.
Page 9. There's still no mention of the Black Panthers from the '60s.
I bet you. And the Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy. They're gonna have like.
Yeah, I just can't get over how they immortalized the guy because of his film role in the Black Panther, not because of him as a person. Like.
Yeah, and by all account, he was like a very genuine, decent, like charitable human being. But you don't hear
stay out
that.
of the public eye kind of guy too, right?
Yeah. And Black Panther fully embraces its blackness, and also what else is here? There's like nothing. Yeah, and then the last thing after that is actual Black Panthers, like the actual animals.
The Black Panthers.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What an Oscar-worthy film deserves all that credibility, right?
And that's on page 10 of Google.
Page 10. Okay, hold on. Here's a question. Do they talk about the Black Panthers or the animals Black Panthers? Like, what's the first thing that comes up?
The animals. So if I go Black Panthers, I just put an S at the end.
Yeah.
I wonder if you just call Black Panthers.
Yeah. If you put an S.
That changes everything.
Oh, really?
It actually does come up there?
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
You have to have but Black Panther is just
it's all film related stuff.
It's Marvel owns that name.
The trademark is there.
And then the thing with Kobe is you were saying a lot of people didn't really do anything. You found that no one was like slandering the death. No one, I don't think, intentionally slanders it when they come up with conspiracy theories, but it still does the work, right?
It really does.
Oh yeah, it does.
The only intentional, in recent history, the only intentional name slander I can remember is maybe like the remember when not Bam Margera, when Ryan Dunn died, when he put that car into a tree, and then
how he died?
Yeah, he was at like some party or whatnot, and him and his buddy got into his car. I can't remember what the car was, and they were doing like 150 into a tree. And then what was it? Ebert right away tweeted, "Well, friends don't let jackass friends drive drunk," or something like that.
Ooh.
And the world went after Ebert. And this is a guy who just had his jaw reconstructed. I mean, like Roger Ebert wasn't.
Cancer too?
Yeah, he had jaw or throat cancer or something, and he had the whole thing rebuilt and put back together again. And, he didn't tweet anything that was, wrong necessarily. I don't think it was necessary. But maybe his timing was shit. And, the entire world's like, listen, you motherfucker, you chinless piece of shit. Everybody went after him.
Yeah, if he didn't have Twitter, he could have just said that to some people at a restaurant. And they'd be like, man, that's cold. And he's like, yeah, I guess you're right. I'm sorry.
Cold, man.
And then that wouldn't have mattered. What the fuck that Ari Shaffir? I don't like Ari Shaffir's comedy. I know people do like it.
Right,
I don't like his style of shit. I just can't, and I can't stand his voice. Whatever.
Yeah, he's not for me either.
I don't know. He seems like a know-it-all all the time, and it's almost like it's his shtick to pretend to be a know-it-all, and he probably isn't. He's probably a nice guy, but he likes to be that fucking guy, right?
Yeah, I agree with you almost 100%.
He said that he, of course, tweeted out when he died because that's what he does when a celebrity would die. He says something awful about them to get backlash on purpose, and it actually almost ruined his career because people were like, of all the people he'd say that about, the guy fucking died with his kid in a helicopter crash. Yeah, and you're just trying to get likes on Twitter or get reactions out of people. You're cheap, you're a cheap person.
It's a cheap laugh.
Yeah. So he had to apologize for it, but it's like you knew that going into that you would get fucked, and you just do it anyway. That's what I don't like about his character. It's fully intentional.
For sure.
People always jump on his story and either sensationalize it by taking even a negative view, just to make themselves look bad, just so they can get attention. Yeah, because now it doesn't matter, man. The whole any publicity is good publicity, or bad publicity is good publicity. That works better today than ever before.
For sure.
You'll find a team that likes you that will defend you against the team that's attacking you. Because people are easily, and I hate using this word, but triggered, and I hate that word.
What's the other word we hate?
Triggered?
No, the other word, the one that you're gonna allude to next, the tribes, man.
Everyone becomes tribal. Yeah,
people get triggered and they join their tribes and they all start throwing their sticks and their stones at each other. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get Dan to move back in the frame a little bit.
Oh, did I fall out?
Oh, there you go. Half your head. You were giving us the.
Sorry.
Oh, and he's dapper again.
Yeah, I know. I found that there's with him, I don't think he got a lot of support. He had comedians that were his buddies that were said, "Man, we know you're funny and shit, but this kind of like didn't go over well."
Well, it kind of did kill him. Like now he's not really on.
Because I hate people getting successful off that. Like that's not the right kind of offense. Intelligent offense is what gets like Dave Chappelle does intelligently offend people all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he isn't just like fucking white people are stupid. Yeah, no. Like that's like the Dane Cook of offending people. You know?
Yeah, he puts the mirror up to them and be like, "This is what's going on." And
I take offense to Dane Cook.
This is what you're saying, and people can't defend that. They're like, he's right. Like that's totally true.
Well, I mean, you look at there's the masters, right? There's Chappelle, there's Bill Burr, and there's Norm Macdonald, and they're like, they're just masters. Like Norm said all that weird crap. Like on The View, like not to, I can't remember what it was.
But he knew, that he's like,
he knew.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
So, let's see who I can piss off because I hate every one of these women.
And they might have...
They invited him on there.
They bring him, he might have ruined his show.
Idiots.
Oh, I love it.
They know who he is.
Like, I love it. Comedians always talk about when they have to go on morning radio shows, they know
it's the best.
I love it, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I'm going to fuck with them because they can't go off script.
And again, look at two of them are the masters. Like Bill Burr on a morning radio show and Norm Macdonald on a morning show. They're they're the guys you want on morning TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Bill Burr on those morning shows when, remember that lady was giving that, do you remember that one where like he was talking to that lady, she was doing like, there's a trivia one and they were talking about breakfast cereals?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. And then she's like, there's the Quaker Oats guy. She's like, oh yeah, that's the guy who raped all the Indians or something.
No, that's the guy who killed all the Indians.
She said that?
No, he said it.
Along those lines. He's like, those are people who came from Europe and massacred all the Indians.
Yeah. He's the guy who massacred all. And then the leprechaun from Lucky Charms.
Or what was the one? Bill Burr's fucking monologue, man. That was amazing. His monologue on SNL.
The SNL monologue.
Telling white chicks to shut the fuck up or whatever.
Well, that's kind of like how he.
Calling them his bitches.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me all right?
That's the thing about like just to expand on that SNL thing is that SNL is a safe haven for like liberal comedy.
Oh God, it's the worst, man.
Where it's a safe haven. And so
now it didn't used to be. Like remember when Norm Macdonald's on there? That one I keep watching. I love the clip of him where he's talking. He's doing the news or whatever, the Weekend Update.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he wrote it. So
the OJ.
He did it the way he wanted it, and then he's like said something about we don't hire women to write jokes, or women can't write jokes. And we didn't. We hired a woman wrote this joke, and then he just kept fucking with people over and over, and he knew that he was offending them more and more.
Well, he said, just for information, a woman wrote that joke.
Yeah.
It was the executive producer, I think, or the president of NBC was a big OJ guy. Like he was a huge OJ fan, and Norm relentlessly just hammered at OJ week after week after week just to stick it to him.
His OJ compilation, I still watch it on YouTube. Like I watched it last week actually because I'm such a huge Norm fan. I love Norm. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, Norm is the king.
He's I don't know what he's done. He's going to become one of these guys that resurfaces as like a legend when all this like aggressive like censoring dies off, because that always ends up being what happened. Is it seems like everything gets censored, then you get these people that just break through the mold again. Mm-hmm. Like I hate to say, Andrew Dice Clay is not funny to me, but back then that blew people away. How offensive!
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
That's all that's happening. Is we're hitting a new era where it takes a lot more. You have to get really offensive. Yeah. But what people are saying isn't even that offensive. It's like they've had to take a step backwards or something.
Well, it's weird, right? It's like Dice wasn't even offensive, like as far as
fart jokes, man.
It's all poop and fart jokes, but people just weren't ready for it.
Comedy was very his comedy was dirty, but he was like. It wasn't like it wasn't
well written.
It wasn't well written. It was just like that was his personality.
It was literally nursery rhymes, and he made a character, and then he had to be the character because he couldn't. He got too famous. He got bigger than he did, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
I call it he Iron Cheeked himself.
Yes, he totally himself. Totally. They said now he just keeps it going. Now he's not even sad about it. He's like, fuck it, I'm Andrew Dice Clay.
Well, if you get paparazzi watching him or trying to get photos of him at like a grocery store, he's wearing like a vest, and the gloves. Like he's just walking around like that.
Yeah, with those half finger gloves.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to other things that were weird. Did you guys? Well, I mean, we really didn't do it, and this is the first time we're really doing it. But Zoom calls, like all of a sudden, Zoom calls were just the way how everybody got out there.
Imagine that company they were probably like, we're doing pretty good. We got a few contracts, no big deal. Now it's like 6 hours Zoom meetings every day, 20 a day. We're millionaires.
Well, did Facebook buy them before or after?
I have no idea. Facebook bought Zoom?
Yeah, Facebook, I think, owns Zoom now.
It must have been during the pandemic because, man, we would do 6-hour D&D sessions on there.
Oh, get out of town. So you did use it quite a bit, huh?
Oh, yeah. It worked really well.
Get out, really?
Well, the problem is you've got D&D websites that have that option, but they have bad software. And then you're kind of tied into having a subscription service with them.
Yeah.
And then it just doesn't operate very well. So we would just do Zoom audio, and then use Roll20. So there'd be 6-hour Zoom audio meetings. You could do video if you wanted. I just didn't bother because I kept my phone in my pocket. But then we had the screen up with all the maps and stuff, right?
Well, that's pretty cool.
It worked out very well.
You guys are like pioneers.
What's that?
You guys are like Zoom pioneers.
Yeah,
well, D&D.
I couldn't believe how well it worked, and it's like if you think about all this, the schooling and like they must be fucking so rich.
Oh my god!
Actually, I have right here Eric Wan. He's the Zoom CEO.
Okay.
From the beginning of the year till now, he's 50 years old. His net worth jumped 396.5%.
Oh wow!
Wow! The elites are going to be approaching him because they're going to be like, "Well, you're too wealthy. You either got to step it up to our group, or we're going to buy you and kick you out."
Yeah, that's insane.
He's going to become evil now. He's going to be like Soros and shave his not Soros, the Amazon guy,
Bezos.
Yeah, but he's going to be like Bezos. He'll be all jacked and shave his head and be like a super villain.
It's going to be like Dr. Dre, but Bezos.
His net worth now is $17.7 billion.
That's insane. That is insane.
Wow.
That's like winning the lottery. With earning.
You won the lottery.
Yeah, for sure. That's pretty much it.
Exactly.
You've got a technology that basically recreates another technology, but better. You just
and it's like there are a bunch of competitors like him that are probably Skype's already been around for X amount of time. It's why didn't Skype blow up?
Yep, exactly. Well, they just didn't offer.
Become the dominating factor instead of Zoom? Why did Zoom become dominating?
Because your grandpa uses Skype and your cousins use Zoom.
It's not sexy enough. They just equate it to Microsoft. So
how corporate really was Zoom in a way where how many offices were already using it for teleconferencing? Like, was it already in place everywhere?
I think it was a growing technology because Cisco has certain things they do the same way, like the large conferencing on screens and whatnot. But I don't think they were doing it as cleanly as Zoom. I think Zoom just had a cleaner interface, and they just they just came at the right time, right? They just built a better machine that already existed.
Yeah. And then once word got caught of it, like once everyone heard of it, everyone's like, "Oh, Zoom meeting." It's just an easy, like even the term Zoom, you're just like it catches on. You're like,
that's a big one.
Right? Like, isn't that funny how that works? It has to catch on for people in a ease of use way too, whether it's vocally or through like messaging.
Right.
If you can just like spit it out faster, it sells. It's sexy, right?
Oh yeah.
It's
Facebook.
like the same thing as saying like,
Zoom call. It's
Zoom.
It's
Skype.
like, just Google it.
Yeah, just Google it.
Just Google it.
Yeah. Well, that's the shit, right? Q-tips, Kleenex, Google, Zoom.
People say Skidoo, and it's actually snowmobile.
You're right.
Skidoo is actually just a brand of snowmobile.
That's right.
Yeah, but snowmobile is an annoying word to say.
Snowmobile is too many. It's too many like syllables.
Well, because it's the snow part. You say snowmobile because it's funnier.
Snowmobile.
Snowmobile.
Did you get your Skidoo? Don't you have a Skidoo?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. There is like a weird kind of thing, right, that happens when you've got like a rhythm to the way you say something.
Yeah. In
like,
tissues, Kleenex.
Yeah, Kleenex.
They say tissues is annoying. Tissue paper? No, I won't say that.
Hand me a tissue paper.
Too lazy. Don't have time.
I don't have time to say tissue paper. Do you guys remember?
To properly enunciate.
It was probably about 15 years ago. Because they were like newspaper headlines were starting to get rid of certain words that were considered like, they're adding too many words to the headline. Just give me the word fast.
They're sounding too smart. We got to get back to tabloid stage.
Right.
We want people to read this.
Dan Rather, I think, at one point had a headline. It was somebody. It wasn't Dan Rather, but it was like Dan Rather adjacent. Somebody on these anchor shows gave a headline like "California fire, 32 dead." News later, and I was like, "What are you doing, man? Like, talk like a human."
But it was genius. They probably took that and just like.
But that's how headlines were. They were getting rid of words.
Sorry. Did you? I feel like did you have a follow up about the Zoom thing, or was that just something where you're like, how did it blow up like that? Like,
no, I was going to go into like Zoom was making all this money for Zoom and was getting people together, and then you kind of found out who in your group was gross, because like you've got all these faces up, and next thing you know, there's people who are letting their Zoom password out so you could get ad porn. Then everybody was like J and their D on Zoom. Dicks were out.
And then like the guys that got busted masturbating while being in a Zoom meeting.
Jeffrey
too.
Toobin, man.
Yeah, that was hilarious. When I saw that, I was like, it was kind of dumb, but like there's all these girls trying to like have a meeting, and then all of a sudden this one guy just says like he just starts going off, and you're like,
yeah,
it's one of those things you watch once and you're like, yeah, that was kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like, you can see how it can get out of control.
Here's the thing about that guy.
He was a congressman or something?
No, man. Well, I think somebody did it before, but Jeffrey Toobin, the guy who got like most fame for jerking off on Zoom, he's the guy who was like the chief reporter, I think, during the O.J. Simpson trial. Yeah, and now he's like Jeffrey Toobin, and now he's like, I think like the Times, or like he's like a major like respected writer, like a journalist. He's
like,
not just some dude.
Any clout, I better masturbate on Zoom, and they don't want to remember who I am again.
And
that was Jeffrey Toobin.
Jeffrey Toobin.
Yeah.
He's like he's a no joke dude.
He wasn't getting any good shows or any good like work lately, so he just like made himself relevant again.
Yeah, he said, I made an embarrassing, stupid mistake believing I was off camera. I apologize to my wife, family, friends, and coworkers.
Yeah.
I believe I was not visible on Zoom. I thought, no, even if you weren't on Zoom, like, why did you
need to fit that in?
Why?
I got 20 minutes and I gotta head out.
I
thought I had muted the Zoom video.
Really?
I know it's true though. He's being honest. The worst part is he's just being honest.
I'll give him that. Yeah,
I will give him that.
When you're caught, you might as well just admit it.
I'd rather it be like someone says, okay, but why did you consider the idea of masturbating right at that moment?
Yeah, what was in your head that you thought?
Asking that question.
This is the moment I'm going to take to jerk off. Like Cheryl in accounting.
No one bring it up with him? Was no one like, hey man, why didn't you just not jerk off?
Did nobody just bring it up? Hey man, no.
I didn't know. You're right. I mean, you take so many precautions. And you didn't
Jeff,
have to though.
Jeff, just a question. Why didn't you just not jerk off?
Yeah. I hope somebody asked him that.
It never occurred to me to not jerk off. I mean,
officially, it's like, how could I not jerk off?
It was 12:02. 12:02 was my jerk off time.
Yeah, right. It's probably very, very structured in, you know.
Yeah. Well, he is.
Apparently, it's called the whole thing is called Spankgate.
Oh wow,
that's lazy. Wouldn't it be called Mastergate?
Yeah, Mastergate. There you go.
Spankgate. Come on,
Dan for the win.
Fuckers.
Mastergate.
Yeah. It's a dead giveaway.
It's there for you, you idiots.
Yeah, use it. They would have ran with that. It would have been way better. Like Watergate, it had more syllables. You know.
But you're right though. The slogan, like Spankgate, is too many. Like it's a glottal stop.
Like Spankgate isn't fit, and Spankergate doesn't make sense. If you're in an office with a bunch of other writers, you're trying to brainstorm this. They must have thought Mastergate didn't work or something.
I'll tell you guys, ever since I saw that episode of Frasier when they were looking at names for Niles and Daphne's kid, and they're like, "How about Jack? Jack is good." And then Niles explained the glottal stop. That like when you say Jack Crane, you can't just say Jack Crane because you have to make a stop. Jack Crane, and that's like in slogans too. Spankgate doesn't work.
Yeah.
But Mastergate rolls off the tongue, man. That comes right off.
Fools.
It's
just wasted. Good material wasted on these journalists.
If I see the phrase or term Mastergate anywhere, I'm gonna expect you to get a paycheck.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
No, you know what? We could prove it because you'll record this, and if it was said on here prior to anyone coining the phrase, I already said it.
I think we don't have a computer, but I think at Backside Attack should Google search the term Mastergate.
Mastergate. It's probably urban. It's probably an urban dictionary, and it's when someone is involved in a masturbatory scandal.
Yes. And a jizz-based scandal. It's called Mastergate.
Let's see.
Let's
see here.
I can't believe he did it. The Google's got you.
You found Mastergate?
There's nothing on Mastergate. There's political satire, but it's from the 1980s.
Nope, that's fine.
That's funny.
That's okay.
Because there's one guy who's in a Broadway play. He was the guy who actually coined the phrase Mastergate. Was in a Broadway play, but that was the guy who actually created the TV series MASH.
Oh,
that's Larry. Larry something.
That is. Sorry, that was very anticlimactic, but that's exactly where it is.
Larry
do I get
Gelbart?
the rights to it then if someone tries to coin it for this use?
I think you should. Yeah.
Witnesses.
I think you should say it and then say I own this.
I own the term Mastergate for the
copyright
of slanderous masturbatory endeavors of celebrities.
Trademark.
Celebrities.
Weird how like those things took off, right? Like for a little while there, you had the Zoom thing and like Mastergate, whatever it was. But like speaking of Mastergate, OnlyFans was just like it went through the roof this year.
Dude, I know 3 girls from the gym that have successful income from OnlyFans.
Get out of town, huh? Man,
I just don't. I mean, good for you. To be honest, I look at it this way: if you can do as much as a stripper, or even half as much of a stripper, but you get to do it in the privacy of your own home and make more money than a stripper, probably fuck it. Like,
do it.
Let it happen.
Yeah, let it happen. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like we talked about that one time with the one broad who got nailed because she's an EMT. That guy wrote that puff piece to try to shame her.
I know, and that's just lazy, man. Because he's probably got 16 other girls he subscribes to on OnlyFans.
That's how he found her.
He's probably a hypocrite.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He found her because he's probably Jane as D, watching an OnlyFans account, and this broad is like, oh, I'm also an EMT. Or somehow he found out she's an EMT because he probably doxes them. Probably does deep dives to find out what they actually do in real life.
Oh, and he probably loves doing that because he has authority as a journalist to look up people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he probably, man, how much you want to bet? I could see a guy like that creeping on them. Yeah. Confronting them and telling them he'll ruin their private lives unless they fucking do more for him. Like, I could see guys taking full advantage of that.
Oh, 100%.
Doxing their private lives.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's funny to me how everyone's supposed to be. This is something that's really crazy. Is Instagram is now censoring, like aggressively censoring any sexual conduct that they obviously deem lewd or offensive, right? Because it's the algorithm.
Yeah.
But they've done now, like, again, OnlyFans accounts. You can't advertise your OnlyFans accounts on your Instagram page. You have to word it differently. Like, I think I even told you this last time, where they come up with creative ways to say OnlyFans.
Really?
So it'd be like exclusive oscillators. Go check out my exclusive oscillator page as a joke. They're like, this is how bad it gets. We have to lie about what we're doing.
Oscillators.
I thought everyone was having a sexual revolution and everyone loves each other, but no, you can't show part of your titties on Instagram.
Well, you can smash somebody's face in, like on Instagram. Like, you can have like the bum fights, no problem.
Yeah. But you can put a warning on it, an offensive warning on it, but that's fine. That gets away with it. But
one
no
nip
one's
slip,
making any money on it. But yeah, like these people, you can't promote any of that shit. Even just modeling pages now, I've noticed.
Well, ask both of you guys, what's more gross? Is it more gross that guy tried to dox the EMT, or what is it the white knighting?
Fuck.
Oh man,
the white knighting.
I'd have to go white knighting.
Yeah, because the guy doxing. You could catch him easily and fuck him over. You know he's hiding something. People like that are more conservative. That's the guy that's anti-gay that has gay orgies. That's the kind of scenario you're looking at.
Yeah. He's got
politicians that say they're anti-gay marriage and then they get caught in a brothel with a gay guy.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
They're at a friggin' eyes wide shut party.
Yeah, whereas white knights are just openly disgusting. They're fully open about how much they simp these women.
They don't try to hide anything.
No, and they think it's going to get them some girl or it's going to get them an OnlyFans woman, right? Whereas the other guy's just an asshole.
Okay, you're right. Yeah,
it just comes down to being an asshole, right? Like
the dude wearing the feminism shirt. It's like, I don't trust that guy at all.
Whereas feminism is supporting OnlyFans. Like, that's actually, in a good way. I don't mean simping it or whatever these fucking guys do.
I love how those phrases took
white
off.
Knights and all this garbage.
Yeah, those phrases took off hard this year. Like simp, cock was always around. I was like,
yeah, but it was a porn fetish, right?
It was,
and now it's like a term you use. And then simp was like it's another BDSM style. Like a simp is a BDSM thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
The simp is the guy with the zipper mask and he's all bondaged up and he doesn't get to decide what everyone
does with him. That's a gimp.
No, oh, the gimp. Yeah,
the gimp is that guy. Yeah,
that's a gimp. Yeah.
Right.
The simp
was also a BDSM thing.
I think the simp is like the dude who is basically the white knighting kind of guy. Like that's a simp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What's there's one more. There's one I'm missing. There's another really quick one. Like a
weeb?
A weeb. That's the one.
A weeb is just a hardcore anime lover, man. That's all. They just love their cosplay body pillows and
they're harmless.
And whatever else.
Yeah.
They're mostly harmless, yeah.
So simp is a guy who's overly desperate for a woman, especially if she is a bad person or here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering that because what's the exact meaning? It's
what's a simp really?
Yeah, so so it's a guy that is overly desperate for women, especially if she's a bad person or has expressed her disinterest in him.
Yeah.
Which he continues to obsess over. So this guy has he likes to be abused.
Yeah, these are guys that continue to subscribe and pay OnlyFans women even though they've rejected them or they meet them at that's what there's weeb simps, right?
Yeah,
so they follow around their favorite cosplay model at a convention and hold their purses for them and then they try to you can't touch them, they're not allowed to touch the girl that they're with at all or
that's so weird,
clips
man.
Of guys simping for cosplay models.
Yeah,
it's so embarrassing.
Yeah, they're the bitches in the relationship.
Yeah, and they're not in a relationship with anybody.
They're
At
not
all.
in a relationship, if you want to call it a relationship.
They're paying that woman to degrade them in a non-sexual way, in a relationship way.
That's brutal. That is like
It's the craziest form of insanity I could ever imagine.
That's a sickness.
It's like a lower form of like actual BDSM. It's like you're not willing to get hit by a paddle. You just want her to like stand on your face.
Yes, you're not in a position of power outside of your life at all either. Like these aren't guys that are like businessmen that like getting their balls stepped on, right? These are dudes living in their basement, not getting laid.
That's what it is.
And they have no power on their day-to-day life, and they seek control from this person they put on a pedestal, right?
Yeah, it's not a power player.
You can kind of equate these people to like over-religious people.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
for sure.
Scary. The obsessiveness of it. Yeah.
It's pretty similar. These people are just like, I know, like even though there's a sense that there's a chance that I could be sent to hell, but I'd love this God anyway. Because it's
they make my life whole.
Yeah, I think they do. Don't they?
Oh yeah, no, I think you're right. That's pretty spot on. Yeah, that's actually really that's that's like that's prolific.
Well, the whole idea that you can't prove faith wrong, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You can prove faith wrong. So the guy's basically he has faith. It's not faith, but the obsession is like faith. You can never convince him he's in a bad place for what he's doing.
It's unshakable. It's like you could slap him, you could like expose him, you could just you
torture him, and it's all for the greater good of his SS Sniper Wolf.
Well,
exactly. Cosplay model that he loves.
Well, I talked about this with Backside Attack probably about like 3 or 4 episodes ago. That like when you talk to people who are in a cult, who are deep, and it's actually in one of our safe words. I think the cult safe words. When you talk to people who are in a cult and they have that weird kind of like their eyes are too wide open and they're really in, then you talk to that same dude once like something happens that shatters that image of the cult he's in and he walks away.
Yeah.
And there's such a shame there. They're like, oh my God.
Yeah, the glossiness is gone. Like they're not they're not an NPC anymore.
Right.
They're lost because they're not an NPC. It's unfortunate.
They need the structure and it's gone now.
They're out of their comfort zone and they're just confused. They don't know how to handle themselves.
Yes.
And that's a easy example of that is Tom Cruise. Like he's always like he's always on edge. He's like, hey, how's it going? He makes you feel like you're $1 million when you meet him. He's always on edge. He's always on fire. And
they said though, everyone that goes to dinner, all these celebrities joke. They're like, he's the nicest human being I've ever met in my life. Yeah. Like he cooks me dinner, and
well, I mean,
but he's maybe he's living. I don't know.
A great example was what's his name? The comedian, the dude who was with the bad dude from Jerry Maguire, the guy who fires him. Sugar? What the hell's his name? But he talked about that.
Like the head of the company, right?
Yeah, the guy
Junior or the head of the
Jay Moore. Jay Moore. He talked
Jay
about
Moore.
it.
Do you see that? Sorry to continue the story, but that show from Fox that he was on when he was this Hollywood agent.
Oh yeah,
that came on the 90s.
Yeah.
What a good show!
It was a very good show.
He was a nobody back then. Like
he was great in like 2 or 3 shows that were like that back to back to back, and they all got canceled.
Yeah, Jay Moore's amazing. And
he's
just
really
fucking
good.
Disappeared. Anyway, sorry. So you're saying?
No, but that's what it was. He talked about when he was acting in Jerry Maguire. He goes that not only is he like the most giving guy, but he understands all aspects of the business you're in, and he tries to make you better. Even though, he's never trying to sell the Scientology thing. He's never trying to be like weird or crazy or like that frantic Tom Cruise. He just wants everybody around him to be the best they can be for their own benefit.
Get on my level in your way. That's how he looks at stuff.
Like how bizarre is that?
Shit, man. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is like the angry, passionate version of that same guy. Yeah, get on my level, but whatever your version of that is, do it, or I'll be pissed with you.
Did you guys hear that Rob Lowe story about Michael Jordan?
The what story?
The Rob Lowe Michael Jordan story. I think it was on Conan, where he talked about how they were. I think Backside Attack heard it on Conan when he's talking about. I think it's Conan, where he's like, we were doing the NBA like fun thing where they get all the old timers together and like the legends together. They play these games, and it was like during the 80s or 90s or whatnot. Then they play like the 90s. And then they're like actors and old timers, and they play like a current crop of NBA heavyweights. And Rob Lowe he's the coach of the heavyweights. So he's got like Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen. And at one point he just wants to do that thing where he's like, all right, time out, and he gets them all together and he takes a knee and he tells them what's gonna happen. And he's like, it was just for the media, man. I just wanted a photo of me gathered around like in the donut of all these guys. And Michael Jordan comes up to him and they're winning like 300-4. Like they're so far ahead. And he's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm just doing the thing with the knee. He's like, yeah, but what are you doing? He's like, look, man, I just want a nice little photo. He's like, yeah, I want to win. Get your shit together. And he walks
yeah.
And he was dead serious.
Meeting, or you better have a reason for us sitting down here like this. You're breaking the momentum.
He's like, that's the kind of guy he is. 30 seconds on the clock. We're winning by 300 points, and he got mad at me for taking a knee. I'm like, oh my god.
For a photo op. He got mad at me for a photo op.
That's what I love
about him, man. But
I agree with you. That's what I love about Jordan. He was winning is everything.
It's everything.
Well, that's what I didn't like about the documentary is they brought up the debate that like should he be vilified for the way he acted. I'm like, fuck that, man. He made sure that he was the most successful he could be in his life.
Yeah.
He didn't let anybody get in the way, and anyone that started to suffer at that, he didn't shun them. He gave them a chance to bring themselves up, and they all proved him right. They were all like, I wanted to be there with him. I want to be at that level.
Yeah, like Dan, did you watch the entire documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that at the end of one episode he said he goes, I didn't he's like basically says I goes, I'm not asking anyone to like to play with me if they don't want to. He goes, but this is the way I'm built. He goes, you haven't been through what I've been through. Through the 80s, he took his hard knocks. He went through so much. And he said, if you don't want to play that way, don't play that way. Yeah. And then he actually started crying. And he's like, cut. And he's like, I'm done.
Well, and like in a weird sense, it was political for him because these guys, that documentary really showed me how much of a pedestal and like the kind of dynasty, like almost like Greek gods they create out of these men. Because there was before him and his big three with Magic Johnson, and then who was it? Who was the third?
Larry Bird.
Right? Was it Larry Bird, Jordan, and Magic Johnson, or was it someone else
at the same time?
Well, yeah, those they were the big three, and then Jordan was one who took it from those two.
Yeah, but the thing is he was in both because when Bird was a coach, he was still playing, right? And like, and it's just like I don't know, they created this image that you had to become part of it, and it was almost like an exclusive club. But he got in there, and even players nowadays, they don't shun that. They still respect that club where like it's impossible to get into that special little group where who's going to take Jordan's place at that mantle? Like no one will, right? No. But it's like it's Jordan. It's Kobe and it's the LeBron now.
Yeah, now it's LeBron.
Like
right?
It's not like they replaced Jordan. They just replaced the other guys that were there before, and maybe eventually someone will replace Jordan. I don't know, but
Jordan's name is always at the top of that list.
Yeah, and like even that, it's just funny how people they tried to make it look like he was a bad guy in some way, and some guys were butthurt about it. But even the ones that were really like, man, he rode my ass, he bullied me, and they're like. It was worth it.
No, I think 100%.
I came out on top. I had my moment when what's his name scored that winning basket. The little white guy that was always with the Bulls.
Steve Kerr.
Yeah, Steve Kerr. I always and I grew up watching them. Right, so this is a great documentary for me to watch now. How many years later? He brings up specifically when Steve Kerr got that basket. He's like, now you're with me now. You brought yourself up to my caliber, but on your terms. You're not like one of my lackeys. You're not gonna. Yeah, you're equal. Yeah, and
it's pretty cool.
It was a great because it's so weird because like because Dan, I'm not sure if like how you were in the 90s like we were growing up, but like it was easy to hate the Bulls because they were just so good because they beat everybody.
Yeah. That's why I love them though.
Yeah, and then so that's why you respect them, but you're like because you can't not like Jordan because Jordan he was the best of the best.
Well, and he wasn't a scandal guy really. Like I know the gambling thing, but like. It's like all the major guys. The worst thing that happens to them is a gambling scandal. Look at Gretzky.
Exactly. Gretzky,
look at someone like Jerry Rice. Man, Jerry Rice is such an underrated all-star celebrity. Like everyone knows he's amazing, but he's not like Air Jordan big, right?
No.
But he doesn't have any. What does he have for scandals? He's just a good
Dancing with
player.
the Stars.
But also,
Dancing with the Stars, maybe.
Yeah.
That's his scandal,
that's
right?
Funny, but that's just cheesy.
That's just cheesy shit.
Yeah. Or the thing is too is like even like in that age where there was no Twitter, nothing was online, so you get
you really had to rely on media coverage of their bullshit. Yeah, and it was a lot harder to get. So
and they would sometimes they would try to expand something that was very little because sometimes scandals have to be created to like there's like Vic, we talked about this, like people will always build you up to break you down.
Well, yeah, that's
athletics.
That's what
does happen.
Like I'm
it's
glad.
It's financially better for them to trash you, right? Like,
exactly.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm glad that
it creates a narrative that will sell papers and make money for certain people.
Yeah.
So
I just had to plug my phone in.
That's cool, man.
Can you hear me worse now?
No, you're good.
No.
Totally
okay.
fine.
I was just gonna see if I could turn speaker on, but I might not have to.
No, I've got your mic cranked right up, so you're good to go.
I can hear you fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
But that's why I'm glad that both of you have seen that doc. Like I haven't seen past the first one yet, so I'm glad you both have seen it. But for me, it's like something that me and Raj always talk about is like the elite level athlete or the elite level artist or elite thinker. It's like there's this normal group of people who are just like they're like middle level professionals, but they're not elite in their field. Mm-hmm. So they either don't become that, and they have an understanding, and they kind of keep their mouth shut. They let the elites do their thing, like the Kerrs and all those guys when it comes to Jordan, or the Jagers at the time when Gretzky was huge. Like eventually he'll get there, he'll do his thing, whatever, right? But then there's this type of person who will never understand what it takes to be elite because they're not in that field, but they're a fan, and they're the first ones to be critical. Like they'll run their mouth, they'll talk all that shit.
Just your, that comes down to your ego.
Yeah, and that comes down to that ego thing, right?
That they're like that, but they also can make money by shitting on that guy.
Exactly.
That's part of their career.
And that's all it is. Yeah. That's all it is. It's like, I mean, if like there's the normal thinkers out there who are like, yeah, like you're doing your opinion or you're editorializing whatever, but it doesn't matter because like that guy is elite and you'll never know the stress he's going through.
His shoes, man. He won't even scuff his shoes as he's running by. Like, he's on top of you. It doesn't matter.
He's just gonna fly over you, man.
There was another guy like that recently, or in the last little while. Fuck, where like I said, like the journalists try to like shit on his. Oh no, okay. So when Christian Bale flipped out on that guy on the set, I heard that like what an awful person. These guys work hard, da 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 da. And then when I thought about other actors, that it's so much effort for them to pretend to be somebody.
Oh yeah.
That losing that momentum is so frustrating. It's like that's why they get so mad.
Oh for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like just there's rock stars, right? There's those assholes that the water wasn't cold enough or the water wasn't warm enough, but. When you're like, I gotta pretend to be fucking Batman for another 2 days, you better fuck off. Like, I don't know how to do this.
And convincingly, in a room full of people.
Yeah, and pretend to be some fucking fake thing that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, you have to pretend.
You have to pretend.
Everyone's watching you. There's hundreds of millions of dollars at stake, and you're just like, you're gonna snap. Like that does happen. But
it's gonna happen.
But
again, it's like whatever. He did yell at the guy. I'm not going to say that he's allowed to yell at people, but I can see him snapping and why. And same with him. Whatever. Now there's the big thing about Tom Cruise shitting on a guy for not wearing a mask or something.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Well,
he ran it, so now it's like celebrity disaster opportunity.
I've gone off on that in my fair share. So
Vic was very sad for Tom Cruise.
Yeah, like so.
No.
It's him yelling at a guy or what?
You dick. No, well, okay, so he's making fun of me because, he's a dick.
Vic thought Tom Cruise was totally in his right mind to do it.
And he wasn't?
No. I think the entire thing is... Again, he's tainting the water because he's an asshole. But what I'm saying is...
How could you?
How dare you? How dare you, backside attack?
Hey, man, I got you a gift, man. I got you your cyberpunk stuff.
Hey, cool. I appreciate that. I got a sticker coming my way. I think the Tom Cruise thing is fake. I think the entire thing is fabricated.
Do you think it was to drum up stuff for the movie?
I think it was to, number one, make him look like a real boy. And number two, I think it was either, it doesn't matter who did it or who wrote it. I think the entire thing is to either be like an awareness piece for, hey, man, like we care. Like we really care about these people. And everybody else will, in turn, kind of fall in line and then start to care as well. But I don't think I think the outburst was scripted. I think the outburst was, like the phone in the room. I think, just
because he doesn't do that, man. There'd be history of his outbursts.
There would be a lot of history. I think this is one of those things where it's like, you know what? Let's just do a thing here. Was it like the Christopher McQuarrie thing where they got together and sat and told people, hey, when you watch our movies, turn off.
These are the settings for your TV to watch it in the way we filmed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you want to explain that to Dan?
What is that?
So basically, what they do is that when filmmakers make a movie, they shoot it with like really high with 4K cameras or whatever it is, right? And they filter they film the colors the way they want it to. So they say like when you're watching our movie at home, whether on 4K disc or streaming in ultra high definition, these are the settings that we'd recommend you put into place so you can watch the movie the way we intended to show it.
So don't turn on the...
That. I don't even think can you... Like, they have it set up so you're like, oh, I can only watch it this way on my TV, but it'll look good? Is that why?
No, the beef they have is interpolation, right?
So like if you have a high-end 4K TV or something, they say, like, you know what, this is the settings that you should put on, that you should set it to so you can watch the movie the way meant for it to be
intended
seen.
you. Well, beyond that, like the effect, the soap opera effect is called like interpolation. So when you take your TV, you raise your refresh rate to 120 hertz. Essentially, it takes a movie that was shot at 24 frames a second, and it kind of sneaks an extra frame in there in a way. Just dumb it down. It speeds up the refresh rate of your TV.
Like a soap opera?
So it looks like a soap opera or The Hobbit. How it didn't look
like
cinematic.
Yeah, I was about to say that it looks like The Hobbit. Yeah.
Because I always thought soap opera filming looked bad to me.
Yeah, and that's their beat.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. So what they want you to do is to not turn on the smoothing effect. So the soap opera effect. Watch it the way we intended you to watch it, because I don't want you making it look like a goddamn soap opera.
Yeah, and like we don't want you to see all the makeup lines and the fucking
Yeah.
I want there to be a slight blur.
Ultra high def when like not always like if your TV's better than the film you're watching, like you're fucked. Like,
so that's their beef.
That's the one thing that really pissed me off is you couldn't get Buffy anywhere, and we're like let's just binge watch it. So we found somebody selling the whole box set for $80 on DVD. We're like, okay, screw it, that's
not
worth
bad.
it. Like all 7 seasons for $80.
That's pretty good.
And like some of them weren't even opened, and so we get to 3/4 of the way through the 4th season, and it's streaming on Amazon now.
Oh no!
And I was watching it on my Xbox, and I had to change all the settings because it was grainy, and the Xbox couldn't play the DVDs. I was like, "What the fuck is this an Xbox? Like, it should be playing." And it looked like shit. I had to change all my TV settings, so something wasn't matching up. And then it looked great on Amazon. All the levels are fine. The volume's good.
The black levels are good. Stereo 5.1.
Yeah, you can actually see stuff in the dark instead of when you watch a TV show from the 90s now, and it's in a dark room. You see nothing.
Oh, it's brutal. I can't remember something I was just watching on Netflix, and it was like the second I went to anything that was dark, even though it was like a letterbox and it was shot in like 35 millimeter, whatever it was. It's like everything that was black was gray and pixelated. Like you couldn't see it. Oh, but man,
it gets it's weird how it gets pixelated now. Stuff gets grainy. It's not grainy. It's like digital problems.
Yes,
now,
it's like the processing is all off.
Television 2 problems.
Super weird, man. But I mean,
so anyway, Tom Cruise is actually a great guy.
Tom Cruise is actually super nice guy. Not at all a dick. Fairly normal human.
Actually, I didn't know this. I was doing more. I did more deep diving into what's going on at that set. Okay, so the movie is shut down. Both movies, like they're filming the 7 and 8 or 10 or 12. Whatever. How many Mission Impossible?
It's a 2-parter.
Well, I think it's back to back filming.
They're filming that one and the sequel to it back to back. And in London, and so right after that, they shut the whole thing down. But apparently, Tom Cruise, I think he paid for accommodations for most of the crew.
Oh no way!
Including the guys who were he yelled at, and he bought gifts for everybody.
All right then.
So he spurs a lot. I think he spent almost over $500,000 on the crew just from his own pocket.
0.64% of his entire film income for those 2 movies on the entire crew.
On the entire crew.
Could end World Hunger with the budget that they.
Exactly. So
salaries for the next 2 movies could end World Hunger.
Well, that's
I think my whole thing with that whole Tom Cruise thing is that his like Vic, we've talked about this. Like it could be fake, it could be real, it could be scripted, whatever, right? But I think his the content of what he said,
nothing wrong with it.
Way better because he was just coming down on people.
Yeah.
And it's almost like if that's the way he talked to people, that's the way he talks to people. I was like, well, why can't you just take guys aside and just be like, guys, we're not, this. That could have been a 10-second meeting.
Yes.
That could have been a 10-second conversation in private.
Guys,
maybe after he's like, who wrote this script? It's way too dramatic.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, shorten this up, man. I can't remember all this stuff.
See, and somebody write it, and they didn't proofread it.
Reinforcing why I think it's fake. And that just for me anyway. Like you said, whatever it is what it is. But for me, that's why it reinforces so much as it was like scripted. The entire thing is just like a WWE angle. He's just playing the heel, for the sake of the storyline.
Yeah, because he's a face, right? He's got to play a heel sometime.
He's got to play a heel sometime.
Actually, it'd be hilarious if that was actually a post-credit scene in the Mission Impossible movie.
Oh, it'd be great.
Just him doing that?
Just him, the video of him just yelling at those 2 guys.
Like when your buddy Joaquin Phoenix did the whole thing for Joker and put it on Kimmel.
Yeah.
Yeah, how he had that outburst.
Did someone do that?
No, he had a fake outburst on Joker.
Oh, I thought like the one from the Joker. Like they should deep fake him onto late night shows where he shoots all these fucking shitty talk shows.
No, he I guess when he went and did Kimmel, him and Todd Phillips, they filmed the whole moment where he would like lose it, like Christian Bale style, lose his shit and freak out. And they were like, well, what is this? What happened? What did you do? And then he went and did this quiet kind of freak out on Kimmel as well. And then a day later, it came out the whole thing was bullshit. The entire thing was crap.
It was all.
Yeah.
Well, because didn't they say that his that whole documentary that he filmed when he was crazy,
all bullshit,
was just all the late night appearances were him acting strange were just to promote the film.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's like, well, fuck, man. Like, I don't know if I don't take away credibility from that guy because
no, man,
I like him. I mean, that movie he did, I was never really there or never really here or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not really here.
Mm-hmm. It's like an indie movie where he's an old ex-military guy and he performs hits and he's like crazy. Really good movie.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're right though. It doesn't kill his credibility with me. It just makes me like him more.
Yeah, man, they should. You know what? If you wanted to give some credibility to late night hosts, they should refilm that. We shouldn't be a deep fake. They should go with him and film all those to promote their own, like, to make. I don't know. They seem more down to earth when late night hosts are willing to like humiliate themselves, not self-deprecate, right?
There's so few of them who do it well though.
Do something uncharacteristic of their nature.
Yeah,
and they don't do that anymore.
No.
Conan was one of the only ones that would risk doing that to like credibility, and nobody fucking does that now.
No, man.
Like,
the last guy who did anything like that was Ferguson.
Yeah.
Craig Ferguson was the last guy.
He realized it sucks and he left. Like,
he just walked away from the whole shtick. He's like, this is crazy. I'm out. He was the best.
I love that guy. That Ferguson was awesome.
Ferguson's late night show.
He didn't give a shit. He's like, whatever.
He had the horse. He had the robot.
I need a drink.
Yeah, that was it. He needed a drink, so he'd have a drink. Yeah, Ferguson was really the best. But who else is going to do that? Like in 2020, especially. Like nobody's going to do that anymore.
Conan can't even do it now.
Conan quit.
Because you're gonna get called out on it by some people who don't matter, and then they're gonna
think you're actually being serious when clearly it's a comedy routine. Like clearly this is all contextual and.
Well, think about
this is the year that I think really comedy was under attack.
You couldn't make jokes, man.
It was the pushback from them was the heaviest, which is good. But you're right; they were definitely scrutinized aggressively. Like journalists took to like going against them as well. Like media attacked them more than anything.
Well, it kind of started last year, right? Like you kind of had like this whole thing. Like once there were jokes being made about like the content behind certain people's motivations when it came to like Me Too or like a political base or whatever it was.
Yeah,
that was kind of starting.
Fun of the side that was supposed to be good.
Yeah. You were going to get canceled, and then this year it kind of felt like it went in overdrive.
No, I agree with you. Like, but now it's like who is considered good now?
Comedy wise, or you mean like decent human beings?
Decent human beings.
Anyone that falls in line, man, bend the knee. Bend the knee, and you are considered on the good side.
Bend the knee.
Yeah.
Well, that's AOC, right? Like people like that.
That's what. Sorry, but go ahead.
No, I'm saying like it's people like AOC. It's like those are the people who are virtuous. You can't make fun of them. They're always right. The things they say are always going to be what you want. You got to toe that line.
Somehow people decided that there is no such thing as without sin to cast the first stone. Right now,
exactly.
Matter. It's like I cast stones. My stones aren't as bad as your stones. You cast way worse stones. I'm throwing stones at you. You're like, what? You were just as guilty of something, I'm sure.
Your stones are as gross as my stones.
Yeah, you have to do as much damage as your stones, and they're lighthearted contextually. Like, wait a minute, that's also theirs.
Oh yeah, Raj, you got something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, if you're ever gonna attack someone, you have to add that. Having said that, because like you have to say like, I love this person. Yeah, AOC is great. Yeah. But having said that, I disagree with like you just can't criticize ideas anymore without being.
AOC is great
without being canceled.
AOC is great, but having said that, she did kick that kindergartner one time.
Yeah, like you have to. Unfortunately, now you have to give everybody a warning.
Yeah.
That you don't actually believe that person is a piece of trash unless I'm going to say they're a piece of trash. Everyone thinks you have subtext now.
Yes.
What you say has a double meaning. Everything has a double meaning. That one black comedian, his jokes aren't as funny. I must be a racist.
Well, that's just like you said, right?
Because there was a black guy that I talked about.
Everybody assumes subtext, but nobody takes into consideration context.
No,
it's gone.
No,
they assume. Yeah, like someone broke it down really well in a sentence where they said, "Yeah, people are more reactive to the thing that they think you mean from what you said than what you actually said.
What you actually said.
Yeah. You have to defend their imagination. You can't defend what you actually said.
Yeah.
No, that's
you
right.
Have to put their mind, you have to put their mind at ease before you can actually explain yourself.
Yeah.
And so
you never will, because they'll constantly. Yeah. It's their brain. You have to.
It's their brain. Yeah. Like
not your actual words, and you're like, I didn't say that.
Well, how bizarre is that, right? I mean, like, and
I have to be your psychiatrist to make sure that you understand my point.
But the problem with that, the problem with all of that is those aren't even like normal, like functioning people who contribute to society. Those are just like a rando on Twitter.
They're in a different place, man. Yeah,
it's a rando on Twitter.
They're the ones who are rooting for the rest of us.
Yeah. So like some random person, like I've got this thing now, like now that I've kind of like started to get back onto Twitter and social media, and I make the joke because we only have like 25 followers that I don't care what anybody with 25 followers has to say. Like if you've got 25, like immediately right there and then I'm like, oh, you don't matter. If you've got 17,000 followers and a check mark next to your name, even then I'm like, come on. Yeah. Like he's probably an asshole too. Like everybody's kind of an asshole, but the less you've got and the more you claim to know, the less relevant you are to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like you being an asshole on Twitter doesn't mean that you need to be vilified on that scale, right?
Exactly.
Like it's just Twitter. Like if you didn't have Twitter, you'd still be that same asshole, just no one would know. Or it would be like, no one really minds him, but he can be an asshole. Now you get burned at the stake, man.
You know who hit the sweet spot though? Like
moments, but on asshole, you're that's who you are if you announce it on a big platform.
Exactly. Yeah. If you announce it first, right?
But no one takes into account.
Now.
Yeah, but no one takes into account. Oh yeah, he has bad days sometimes.
The dude who I feel like hit a sweet spot and is almost like the Teflon Don of being an asshole, and you don't know if it's him or not, is like Larry David. If you look at Curb, it's like that guy. He gets everything he wants out. Like he says whatever he wants to say about the world, and it's like, is that him or the character?
Yeah, because he says shit that Norm Macdonald would get in trouble for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But Norm Macdonald just doesn't care if he gets in trouble. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who else?
But Larry David also does it in the context of like where he's able to like do this kind of things.
Yeah.
Is on a platform that where there's almost no rules on HBO.
That's right.
He's and he also has like look at his precedent. He's like he created Seinfeld, right? So like he's done, like he's been
no
through
one's
the
safe
grind
nowadays, though, man. No one's safe. If they can get him on something to where he has to finally apologize, they got him.
They'll get him. Yeah, he has to.
That's all it takes. Someone has to find the right opportunity to make him say sorry for something. I don't want him to. I'm just saying that's all it takes. Like they just gotta get him.
I'm trying to wonder what would Larry David have to say to like make someone say, "Okay, that was too much."
You have to like openly deny the Holocaust or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm getting at too, though, is like
it would have to be pretty grandiose.
He's the kind of guy. Like, okay, do you guys remember the Hulk Hogan? It was that the Hulk Hogan lawsuit. The Peter Thiel gets involved, and Hulk Hogan suing
the porn tape.
The porn tape thing.
Okay.
The whole thing there. It's like Hulk Hogan's defense on all of that, on a lot of that kind of stuff was, I can't remember the name of the documentary was, but it's like the trial against like the media pretty much. But his whole argument, one of his defenses about why he's able to do things and get away with stuff is like, well, see, brother, you're thinking about Hulk Hogan. Like, I mean, you're not thinking about Terry. Like, you're thinking, that was Hulk Hogan doing that stuff.
Hulk Hogan's a racist.
Right? So Hulk Hogan's a racist. Larry David, like, you never know. Because, like, Larry David could say something.
He'd have to Weinstein somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly it. He'd have to Weinstein somebody.
He's a powerful celebrity. Yes. And he has clout. And that was where it would come down to, is some chick that, like, didn't think that conversation was a little too sexy over the phone. Yeah. And then he's done. And
then he's finished. Yeah. No, you're right. He would have to Weinstein somebody to get into any kind of trouble.
Mm-hmm. Which is good. I'm glad that he's at that point, because he probably knows better, and he's too fucking lazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Larry David, man, he doesn't want to work for anything like that.
Raj
he doesn't care.
Raj has looked something up, and he's laughing.
When you guys mentioned the Hulk Hogan sex tape case, the second article was Hulk Hogan sex tape trial. Why his penis size is vital to the case.
Oh my god, that's so gross.
Interesting. I wonder if it's like to prove he was on camera or something, or prove it was him.
Well, I mean, I think there was no doubt it was him. It was just like a matter of like I think intent.
Too many brothers.
Too many brothers.
Could be right.
Old brother.
I know. I think he had too many of his vitamins.
Brother, I mean sister. Oh god.
Brother.
Or like. Well, okay, I think I brought this up with you last time, too. I just really like the joke, but I was butchered. It's that time, because Dave Chappelle keeps bringing up about how these girls that said their careers were ruined by Weinstein, and it's like, your dreams were ruined. It's like, well, maybe you just didn't work hard enough for your dream. Like, if you let something like that stand in your way, it wasn't a dream.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, because like, but you think about some people may have died to get look at Charles Bukowski, man. That guy didn't get famous until he was in his 50s or 60s. He's an alcoholic at that point.
Oh, wait, for sure.
He's a homeless alcoholic guy.
His whole life is about to fall apart.
Yeah,
right?
His whole life was a mess, and he just kept. He's like, "Do it. If it kills you, just do it." Just
There's like the problem with that statement being taken, like I said, without the context, is that people don't understand what the context is. It's like, look, it's not saying that you shouldn't let somebody raping you ruin your life. But the thing is, if you're mentally like a great was it Gabrielle Union? I think one of hers is like a pretty cool, not cool, but it's a story of like breaking past all that. Right? I'm pretty sure she was assaulted or raped like during her rise to stardom, and she's just like, fuck it, I'm stronger than this, and she just keeps on moving forward.
Well, they said a big thing, like, not that I'm going to say this is what you just need to suck it up. I'm never that person with people, and I hate that. I'll never tell somebody that unless it's like, you could probably just suck it up in some cases, but in a situation like rape or whatever, sexual assault, the women, they always say that they don't progress in life, is they let it like dictate how their life goes for the rest of their life, because they never get past it, right?
Yeah,
so
it defines
like, the women that overcome it and are like, fuck that, that's not going to affect how I live my life, are the ones that come out better, right?
Well, I mean, I think
in theory, I'm sure it's obviously a hard work. It's not like they just change their mindset.
No.
But they don't limit them, right? Like, they don't let it stop them. Whereas he's trying to say, like, if you wanted to be an actor that bad, it's a lot harder work than maybe getting sexually assaulted a couple times. Like, it's like the hardest thing.
Dan, a couple times. I don't know. I mean, like, got touched a couple times. Like, come on, like, be an actor.
Well, what did he say? He's like, I don't know. He's like, if I had a costume fit at somebody's house at 3 a.m., I'd go.
He's also like,
see how tight these pants are at 3 a.m. I guess I'm going.
He probably also outweighs the casting director by like 50 pounds, right?
It's so different. Like, if a dude, because what did they say? Like, what, Terry Crews? It kind of happened to him where a guy was like feeling him up one day at a table.
A guy grabbed him at a bar. Yeah.
He got Me Too'd or something.
Yeah. He was having a drink at a bar.
Yeah, what about all the child teenage stars that from the 90s? That's why I always bring that shit up. Like River Phoenix, that's probably why he killed himself and did drugs.
Fucking Dana Plato. Like we talked about last episode, Dana Plato. Look at the entire cast of Different Strokes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
they were probably, and the girls back then too, everyone was probably getting.
Oh, everyone, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not good, man.
What's her, Drew Barrymore, her exposure to drugs and whatever, what was her, what molestation shit did she never bring up,
Yeah.
Poor Winona Ryder robbed a shoplift to that store, right? Who knows what was going through her head when all that happened?
Dude,
like, there's a lot of pressure there.
Vic, don't say shit about her, okay?
I was not. I was defending her. Defending her honor. Defending her honor. I was white knighting. I was white knighting Winona Ryder. No, but like
talk about my queen.
I kind of talk about like a lot of things that we've seen, like what in what we've done as far as work goes, right? Like me, like Backside Attack has done his OHNS, but like me and Dan, we were in the bars for a while, and some of the shit that we saw, like in the bar industry, that was either like a lot of violence or a lot of weird crap that would go on, or drugs and alcohol. And I think for the most part, even though we both worked in some rough, shitty places, we walked away fairly unscathed, whereas people we worked with who saw less than us and did less or were involved in less are damaged.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, fucking broken.
Yeah, man. Like, that's the worst part, is leaving right now. I was leaving. When I left, I felt like the bar industry was probably at the worst I'd ever seen it in regards to, like, staff members being, like, high and drunk all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and just completely obliterated by it. And, like, the culture, like, the sex culture is so fucked up now. Like, they, there was at least a year there where if you got, like, without bar that got shut down because of it, right? Like, that kind of sent a message to the industry, but it really didn't change anything. Like,
no.
There's still 25-year-old managers fucking all the staff, and like people just being wasted, and like that. If you don't get out of that, man, like, you walk out of that damaged half of these people,
Oh, for sure.
They spend years in that industry like that, so.
But then again, there are people who get into that industry, they navigate it, and they walk away successful, having seen more or equal to people who get broken by it. Like, there's a type of person who doesn't matter what happens to you, it's going to break you. And that's just the type of person, man. That type of person is going to get broken, and that's because no matter what, it could be either, like, they see a shooting, that like their PTSD happens, they get triggered in some way, and they're just damaged. And they're not going to be successful in anything they do if something violent happens in the course of their trying to become successful in an industry. I think that's what Chappelle is trying to say,
system,
right?
It's not the system that is the problem; it's their way of handling the system.
That's
right?
what it is.
They can't navigate exactly properly.
Yeah.
Like you said,
and then there are people out there who are just they're cared. I'm not saying we're one of those people, but like I've seen a lot of fucked up shit, and for the most part, I'm pretty normal.
I got out of that shit alive, man. I quitting when I did was 5 years too late. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, well, there you go, right? Oh man, hey, speaking of people of industries that navigate the waters when it comes to COVID, going through our year. You guys aren't huge wrestling fans. I'm a huge wrestling fan. But when you watch sports, like sports, and in particular, like fucking Vince McMahon and that Thunderdome shit that he put together, the way wrestling and WWE stayed alive and still had massive fan interaction, like it's kind of like a blueprint for how these other organizations can do it and do it really well.
So can you explain that to me? Because I don't actually know what they do as opposed to the other sports.
So
I don't know either. Yeah.
At first, so they've got an area in I think the Performance Center in Florida. It's a big area with a ring, and it's got places they can have.
Okay, hold on. So the main home base for the current staging of the WWE is in Florida.
Oh yeah. First, it's in the hotspot.
No, that's genius. If anywhere in the States, it should be in Florida.
It should be in Florida. So they have their.
That's the test lab.
It is a test lab. It's the petri dish. They're in the petri dish. They're doing well, right? So they've got their like live shows happening from no fans. And when fans did come in, it was all the NXT guys. So like the jobbers would come and be the fans wearing masks and shit. But then they were able to get into the I think it was the Amway Arena, wherever Orlando plays, the Magic or somebody plays there. But they put together these gigantic LED boards and just had 3,000 fans Skype in and watch the entire thing, so you could hear them. And then the people performing are performing to a fan base that can watch them, and they can see an immediate reaction of the fan base while they're in the ring performing. So it felt like you were just at a Monday Night Raw, like a regular show.
So there was like thousands of little Zoom squares all over the stage.
Yeah, was it like little?
No, they're huge. They were massive. They were.
Like the screens were huge.
Yeah, they were like 3 foot by 3 foot.
Hundreds and thousands of these little Zoom, like it was like a giant Zoom meeting.
Yeah, but it wasn't like hundreds of little ones. It was probably about 3,000 big ones. So the entire arena's got like
3,000. I was just trying to think of the scope of how many people were watching.
About a meter, like a square meter. So like it was like having a 50-inch.
Sorry, just to interrupt. Did they make like how the NBA kind of pipes in like artificial sound of fans cheering? Did they put that in there too?
Well, they didn't have to because your mic is on. So they can hear you as you're speaking to them. Like so you can cheer and your audio is coming into the arena. Now I'm almost 100% sure they are also piping in like another reaction to make it like to fill the sound a bit.
Because it might have I could spin it in. All that stuff's hooked up to the sound system. I'm assuming they wanted it to sound good. Like that's really smart.
It's pretty smart.
It seems very like future dystopia, like Running Man.
It was very Running Man. It was very Running Man. But I mean, when you watch them do that right, it's like I'm not.
Actually, Dan, thanks for reminding me that I got to check something on Running Man.
There you go. But like to watch that, I'm not surprised it was successful. But at the same time, like that seems to be like you've already got this way to have fans in there. So COVID happens and you pump these fans in on your screens. So what's the need?
It's all pay-per-view, man.
It's all pay-per-view. I mean, say that again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Then they can eventually change it where it's going to be a subscription service, like there is one, but maybe it will be. You want to watch this shit? You understand why, and people are going to support that because they want their wrestling.
They want their wrestling, right? Mm-hmm. They get them in.
Justify having maybe the WWE subscription service already.
It's already there.
Yeah, but then maybe they turn it to full live streaming, and then maybe the price doesn't change, or if you want to watch it, you have to like have a membership.
You got to pay money to get into that arena.
Well, and so they did that in Florida. Was it me imagining this or hearing that they were going to do it? But I heard that the UFC stuff was actually in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, they did Dubai, Fight Island.
So it was on Fight.
Yeah.
So Fight Island is actually an island that they made for them to fight on.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's an actual island. Like it might be like somebody's private little thing because they build islands, right?
Yeah, it is on like I guess it's on an island, but it's a rather large island.
Yeah,
so they just call it Fight.
Yeah, they use it part of Dubai. They designed it and built the stadium there.
Well, it's one of those.
I guess they kind of want to like make it sound like it's from Enter the Dragon or something.
Yeah.
So
Hans Island.
But yeah, it's But they said like a lot of people say like there's even Dana White said a lot of them they created in honor of Khabib.
Well, it's funny because that is basically going to be done there now. CrossFit is going to be done in Dubai now because they had the facility to create the events.
Oh, really?
And like some Saudi guy bought part of the CrossFit thing when the guy sold it because apparently that guy's a racist now. That guy got canceled.
Oh yeah, the CrossFit guy. No,
The
he's
head of CrossFit or
he's
whatever.
not. He's not apparently a racist.
Yeah,
he's like a raging
wow.
racist.
What did he say?
I think he said something about, I don't want black people in CrossFit. Like, it was something pretty brutal.
So, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Okay, wait. I'll get the quote.
Well,
you guys continue.
If you think about it, that's there. And then I heard that, I don't know if this is true again, but I heard that there's somebody from Saudi Arabia or Dubai purchased 10% of StubHub before the pandemic hit.
Oh, no way.
And that wasn't necessarily related. It just was that when he bought it, right?
You know, okay, here's the thing, though. Like, we're saying it wasn't related, but at the same time, like, there are speculators and algorithms and all sorts of shit that can... Okay, what do you say? He just found it.
Okay, first of all, I'm not surprised that this guy said it because this guy looks like he was born in the 30s.
Okay.
So he said, so I'm just going to read you this, and he said, so he goes, CrossFit's founder and CEO Greg Glassman resigned on Tuesday after going on a lengthy tirade in a Zoom call with employees and affiliates of the company, in which he expressed doubt that systemic racism exists. It's insisting that no one on his staff was mourning for George Floyd, and shared wild conspiracy theories about Floyd's killing and the spread of coronavirus. He responded, so the problem started when he responded to a tweet framing racism as a public health crisis with the insensitive remark, "It's Floyd-19," instead of COVID-19.
Oh, wow. That's what it was.
Oh, damn.
So he got...
So the backlash to the tweet prompted Reebok to end its partnership with CrossFit and the company to apologize on Glassman's behalf, saying the words were not racist, but a mistake.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that sounds like he's a slip of the tongue.
He said, "We're not mourning for George Floyd. I don't think me or my staff are." He goes, "Can you tell me why I should mourn for him? Other than that, it's the white thing to do."
Oh, wow. Man, he took like
That's hilarious.
racism and white guilt to a different level altogether.
He's so over the top.
So then obviously Reebok was a huge endorser of CrossFit. So I don't know, did they pull out or did they stay because of that? Because he left?
Let's see here.
Because like Reebok's also UFC.
Yeah, Reebok is in the hands of all sports.
Those three major things are now heavily affiliated with Saudi Arabia now, or Dubai.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming because of the pandemic, they're using it as an opportunity to create an entertainment zone where all the sports and all the shit is hosted and filmed, and then you pay to go there and watch it or watch it.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like they're making it so much easier to not be there.
Buying 10% of StubHub, buying up they're gonna. What if the WWE moves there too, right? Like, what if they move it over there?
Oh, they'll never move
just
it over.
Just to answer your question, Reebok is dropping CrossFit at the end of this year.
Okay, so maybe that's why they're going to get a deal from some Saudi prince guy or some shit.
Probably.
You never know.
Doubt it.
Maybe it'll be Puma.
Yeah.
There's there's actually there's this guy. So Conor McGregor's fighting Dustin Poirier in on Fight Island, and Khamzat Chimaev, who is like my new favorite fighter.
He's your buddy now.
Yeah, he said he actually went to I think it was like a year ago or something. He actually went to Ireland, and everyone thought he was gonna go there for training. He's like, no, I actually went there to fight Conor McGregor and beat the shit out of him.
Like in the streets.
He's like, after what he said to Khabib, he goes no, because he's from Dagestan, like he's originally from Chechnya, right? So he goes, but they're gonna be fighting at the same time when McGregor fights. And he says, he goes, if I see Conor McGregor, he's like, no one's going to stop me because I'm going to rip his head off.
See, that's just now you're a clown. Like, that's where you lose me altogether.
Slavic.
Yeah. But if that guy gets a hold of Conor McGregor, that guy's going to rip him apart. Like, if you see this guy
like that, you just go back there. No one's going to arrest you.
Just leave.
He's a hero there.
I don't know, man. So
it's that'll be that's gonna be a very interesting. His fight with his fight's gonna be very interesting to see like how good he is. So because he's just he rolled through two guys in two different weight classes on the same week.
He's such a weirdly built dude too.
Stuff now because like I don't know when it's going on, and because of this, I'm like I'm just gonna leave it. I don't know what's current anymore. Yeah, like the fights and the highlights I see, I'm like shit, is this old? And then I'm not sure about who's fighting who. You know?
See, I was the opposite of you. Like this year, like I wasn't that much into it. Like I kind of knew about it. Like I was, but I wasn't like I was a fan of it, but I didn't know too much about it. This year, I spent just researching it, and when I came across this maniac,
Hazmat or whatever his name is.
He said, "I'll fight anybody. I'll fight any weight class." He's like, "It doesn't matter. I'll fight anybody."
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of guys like that one. Yeah, pretty much. So he fought 2 guys in 1 week at welterweight and like I can't remember which other weight, and he beat both of them. One guy he walked up to in 10 seconds, punched him once, knocked him out.
Yeah, he's probably cut
pretty
the
tough.
First guy.
Yeah.
And then just water loaded back up for the next fight.
But I think it's like 85 and 170, right?
I don't care. He's like Khabib.
But I think he fights at 85 and 170. Like he comes up and down, but like I don't think he's a lightweight.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's a weird looking dude too. Like he's got that weird build. Like he's a very like Diaz type, like look to him.
Yeah, he looks like it's like his body looks like he's built, but he's like it's kind of like
long, like a spider.
It's kind of gangly, kind of like that. But he has that kind of like that cut in his lip,
hair lip,
and his eyes. He actually looks like a lunatic.
Yeah, but, he plays that look up.
Everyone says he's the nicest guy. Like outside the ring, he's so polite.
Yeah.
But when he gets in the ring, he goes, I'm gonna kill whoever's in there.
I'll tell you, man. Like
ever
since Chael like perfected the WWE heel. It's like all these other guys have tried, and I just don't buy any of their the heel ability, their acting ability. It's like it's so weak. I'm like, you guys are just you all suck at it.
Their plan to get into the UFC to be an actor, right? Like
exactly.
Anyone that has charisma, it's just an added bonus that they happen to come by it naturally. They're not. They don't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing. So I mean,
Chael Sonnen is very lucky that he has that kind of charisma.
Who's that?
Like he can Chael Sonnen or whatever. He can make you believe that he's actually a piece of shit.
Yes.
When it's like when he doesn't need to be, right? Like,
and that's why I would rather them just go in there and do their thing. If you're charismatic and you're able to, then do it. Like Connor. Connor was weirdly charismatic and able to kind of like get under people's skin. But it's like it's Chael and Connor.
Bullshit and
I mean, I don't know. I can't. I don't like that aspect of it.
Some Irish guys really can. They're obnoxious. Like Irish dudes to me are fucking obnoxious. Like if I could hate a race of people, it would be the Irish.
That's why you gotta love Boston.
No, I have partied with the Irish when I'm traveling, and I'm just like,
they're fun to a certain point, and then just like
to a certain point, but you can run to. Yeah, you're just like, okay, that's enough. Okay, I can't. Okay, you're right. I can't drink as much as you.
But they're like Dan was saying earlier. They're like the Slavic of far Western
Europe or European world. They're the Slavs.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right? Actually, you know what they are? They're the dippers of Europe. I'll say that.
I will join up with that 100%. They are the they're the on a plane wearing a plaid.
Scottish people, I think, are still respected better than they are. Like.
Well,
they're looked at because they, like you'd looked at it if you had a tier system of that area.
They're still riding the Braveheart high.
Yeah, exactly.
They're still riding the Freedom high.
I swear to God, Braveheart has not aged well. The movie, it is just.
I love that movie. I watched it recently.
Because it's so on surface, it's so good, but when you watch it, you're just like, there's so many technical errors with the movie. You're just like,
it's like watching that old Kevin Costner Robin Hood movie.
Hey man, fuck you.
No, I like them.
That movie's awesome.
It's one of those like classic high budget films that has like bad editing, and right at the beginning there's a scene where a slave is chained up like this.
Yeah.
And then the next scene is him being like, "Yeah, get him," and then the next scene he's back chained up again.
It's so bad. But what Raj is getting at is the fight scene in Braveheart.
Like in the battle scenes, the guys aren't even hitting each other. They're like this. And there's a guy with jeans on.
Fight scenes are tired. They don't care.
You know what? My COVID watch that actually aged really well, surprisingly, was Gangs in New York.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gangs in New York. Man, it aged pretty well, and it's like remarkably relevant in a weird way when it comes to class warfare and like the system. It's
dude, that scene where he beats him up with his own club is still so graphic.
It's brutal.
Oh yeah.
Where he's like, let's have a meeting, and then he just stabs him and then beats his head in with his club.
Oh god. And John C. Reilly playing a real hard ass street fighting man. The dude from Step Brothers playing a guy who will
I like that.
Will beat you up.
He can play other characters. He just became this mindless buffoonery for the last 20 years.
It was Talladega Nights, man. He was he was able to go up and down. Then Talladega Nights comes out, and then Step Brothers comes out, and now he's a buffoon.
Yeah. Well, now he's doing obscure shit on Adult Swim, which I thought was so cool.
Yeah, really good stuff.
He was doing stuff Between Two Ferns before anyone even knew that was funny.
Yeah.
Oh
man,
that's true.
On Eric and Tim, great show or whatever.
Oh, Eric and Tim, awesome show. Good job.
Yeah. He was on Tim and Eric as this therapist, this public access therapist.
He was really good. He's good in that. He was surprisingly good in something recently I just saw him in. Oh, I'm gonna draw a total blank on it. But he actually talked about a little about that on Conan like about a month or so ago, when he's like, I just kind of go in and do my best for whatever job it is, and that just happens to be comedy, like surprisingly was. And then he talked about how people who he acts with, they always end up being his best friend in real life. And he's like, the one person, he's like, there's only one person who I acted with opposite that didn't become my best friend in real life, and I was like, Daniel Day-Lewis. It was probably Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
He's like, I acted with that guy, and we didn't become best friends.
Actually, you know what? You where I saw him, and you won't even believe. Like, I'm like, that's got to be John C. Reilly, and it turned out I researched it, and I was like, that was actually his first movie appearance. He was a goon. He was a thug. He was a goon in a bar in Above the Law with Steven Seagal.
No way.
That was his first movie appearance.
Wow.
Amazing.
I just saw it because I saw Above the Law like 2 weeks ago. I just downloaded it, and because that's my favorite Steven Seagal movie, and I was watching it, and I was like, wait a minute. And so when I stopped it, I was going, and I rewind. I'm like, that's John C. Reilly, and I went on IMDb, and I looked. That was totally his first movie ever.
Get out of town.
That's my favorite.
Oh man. Oh, let's see what else do we have this year. Oh no, go ahead. Was something else?
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, no, sorry.
No, I was going to move us into what else we were looking at and stuff that was maybe in that.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Huh?
I don't know. I was saying like there's just so much coverage of like the same thing over and over again. Like,
over and over again. Well, here's something that we never saw before that came out. Friggin' monoliths. There are goddamn silver spikes in the ground.
Did they figure out if that was fake or not, or an art installation?
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on with that?
Man, all they know is that for the most part they just keep popping up, and I feel personally that these are like art installations, and there's copycat installations. But the one that was wild was like when they kind of went nuts because it was on public land, right? With no trails, no tracks, or no trails, no way to get there. And then these guys were all out in their RVs, and they hiked, and they had the camps and their tents, and they're just throwing garbage everywhere, and photographers taking photos of the monolith. And then this group of people show up, and they just start taking the whole thing down. And they're ripping everything down, and they got their truck, and they're getting it out of there, and they're wearing kind of like coveralls and hats and trying to obscure their faces. And this one photographer who got the photo of the monolith and is about to get a photo of them and is told not to, those guys yelled back at them, "Leave no trace." And they took the shit down and got out of there. And everybody took it as this cryptic message that it meant like, hey, we're here, and like we're gonna leave no trace behind, and blah blah blah. And it turns out the guy who took it down, who yelled "leave no trace," he's some sort of like environmental conservationist. And on Instagram the next day, he's like, no, what we meant is we tore it down because people showed up where there was like there are no trails, there's no way to get there, and they devastated the landscape. So we were telling them
way to get there, like parasites.
Oh, yeah, like parasites. So these guys yelled, "Leave no trace" to them, as in, like, pick up your bags of shit and your fucking footprints and all your garbage and get the hell out of here. Because, like, you're destroying the landscape.
So, was there, how many total were made? Because there was 3 I know of.
I thought there was 3.
I think one in Manitoba, or, like, somewhere here in Canada. There was the one in Siberia, or somewhere in Russia, I think. There's that one in Utah.
The first one in Utah, right?
That was the first one. And I'm not.
One of the ones I saw a video of, they said this is clearly the mayor of the town nearby was like, that one's like, I've seen it fall down twice. So I think someone just literally, they said someone's just copycatting
tinfoil.
So I mean, so basically, it was just an art installation to be like,
pretty much, just a big old artist. But
no, there was ones that were like I have a list here of like the ones that were actually constructed.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a total list of all the monoliths that were seen in 2020. There's looks like there was like 30.
Get out of town,
if not more. They're found all over like Middle East, South America, Central America, New Zealand.
We were way off.
Tons of states in the United States.
Maybe the idea was to see if it would effectively copycat itself. Maybe it was an experiment by that guy.
Could be. It could be.
Yeah, there was one December 13th. There was one in Lethbridge. There was one in Vancouver, Kamloops, in Manitoba.
Wait, hold on.
Quebec. There's one in.
Did he just say Kamloops?
Yeah, they're in Switzerland, Netherlands. Yeah, there's everywhere. Morocco.
But did they say? Is everyone kind of like it's not in the news anymore, right?
No.
But I also want to get back to like you added a syllable to Kamloops. I just want to make that totally clear.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
What are you?
I was pointing out that you called it Kamloops. Like camel.
Oh, did I?
Camel
That's
oops.
what I dislike. That's how I dislike that place.
I thought it was funny. You know what? That joke went over everybody's head but mine. And whatever.
Camel Oops is like actually a lot of fun because you can just drive to our version of the Napa Valley.
That's right.
Canada, in Shuswaps. So it's a close drive.
It's wine country.
Yeah.
I think we hit a bunch of stuff. I was going to end off on aliens. That was my monolith thing. I was going to go into.
I heard more people disclosing possible another interview where a guy's like, there might be a chance that maybe there might be something to do with a thing that might be from aliens. That's kind of how he worded it. You're like,
yeah,
okay. Is that it? But he was an official government guy apparently recently. This is like today or yesterday.
Yeah. I totally disregard that whole story. Was there any weight to it at all, or?
Well, they just asked him because they're like, well, some guy asked him in a candy question and he didn't shoot it down. He just worded it so grandiosely where it's like, it could be
it sounds good.
Yeah.
That's it.
It could,
but it was a sentence that was so vague that he wouldn't get in trouble for saying anything.
There is just so much more content being admitted to by governments.
Yeah, slowly they're just like, I can get away with this. We can get away with this.
Yeah.
There's just so much more that they're just saying you know what? Here's the thing. We don't know. There's stuff out there we've dealt with. We don't know what's up. Here's all of our data. Here's all of our information. Go through it.
Well, all that stuff about those ships that when you watch the Joe Rogan things where they actually had the guy, I can't believe it.
David Fravor
right now, but
I know exactly what you're talking about.
David Fravor,
actual guy that was at Area 51.
Yeah. Oh, you mean yeah. The one who worked at S6.
Yeah,
or
where he actually
S1.
says he's like, these devices couldn't be manned by a living creature.
Yeah.
And you don't even know what the hell it does. They're like, that's so far beyond our scope. And what's
his name?
Basically explain that.
Bob Lazar.
Yeah. Jeremy Corbell and Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
He basically explained that we are so behind that it's like giving an iPhone to a guy from 1902.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't know what the fuck it does. And guys have died investigating it because of accidental radiation and shit.
Because there is so much technology change in just our lifetime. If you took an iPhone and you went back in time to us in 5th grade, and you're like, hey, that computer that you wish you could buy? Everybody's got something in their pocket that's 25 million times stronger than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even 35 years ago, an iPhone would blow our fucking minds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It would freak you out, man.
Yeah, it's more powerful than it's more computing power than they use to launch the Saturn V rocket.
Oh yeah, check this out.
You leave it on the bar.
And you leave and you drop it in the toilet. You drop it in the toilet.
Drop the toilet.
We have the most sophisticated piece of space age technology in human history in our pockets, and we forget it at the bar.
Oh man, when I was when I was a little kid, I bought my first computer was AST that we bought it from Radio Shack. I had to put most of it together myself, and it had I think 8 megabytes of RAM. It was so small. I think the storage, the storage is 25 megabytes or some shit like that. And then my aunt, 5 years or 6 years later, gave me her old Palm Pilot, and that thing had 8 megabytes of RAM. And I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? All that shit that I had there fits into this?
You were rolling.
You better set up on floppy disk.
I had a Commodore 64.
No, well, hey man.
Yeah, I didn't even have that.
Punch cards were the shit back then. You were rolling some punch card shit.
Yeah, I know, man.
Nintendo's.
But no, it's the truth. It's if you show us that back then.
I went to that then I went to ColecoVision, then I went to Nintendo.
Oh, so you were living the history of video games.
Yeah.
Actually, my cousin had it, and then he said I saw it. He had a ColecoVision. I'm like, why don't you play this thing? And he's like, oh, the games. I goes, we have all these games. I'm like, my parents bought it for me, but I don't know how to use it. And I was like, okay, I'll just take it then. It's not hard to use.
Well,
and so after that, just went through. Then when you got Nintendo was like a revelation.
It was a revelation. But think about that for a second, right? Do you remember that episode of that '70s show when they were playing Pong?
Mm-hmm.
And they had the Pong.
I never watched '70s show.
It's way better than Friends.
So I'll stay out of it.
way better than Friends.
I do remember the episode though where he figures out how to make bigger paddles.
No, smaller paddles. Mm-hmm. Because the game was
more
already it was getting to the point where they were too good at it. So we'll make smaller paddles. But that group of kids playing Pong back then thought they had the piece of technology that was going to change the world, right? And then what is it? 10 years later, you had a Nintendo?
Yeah.
That's 19 well, maybe less than 10 years. That's 1977. Yeah, late 80s.
It was Nintendo came out in 1984 or 85.
So less than a decade later.
and then you had the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, the Super Nintendo. So that's how fast
Super
technology
Super
grows.
Came out in 94, 3 or something like that. Yeah.
So let's just say 100 years from now. 100 years from now, what's it going to be? Like, what if somebody can somehow send information back to us from 100 years from now? Or is adjacent to us? Like in a dimension adjacent.
You just put your consciousness in another place. Like you shut off this body.
Yeah.
And while you sleep, you get to live in the other world.
You're Hank and Dean Venture.
That's all simulation.
Like we're all just we've moved into the point where you can pick the simulation you want to live in at that point.
Yeah, and Vic, we've bled that to death.
Oh yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like you might not even know. Like it's a Hank and Dean Venture thing. You might not even know you die. You're dead. Yeah. Your consciousness is uploaded into a clone body that's fed information.
Yeah. And it's totally probably however you want to work it. Like you at that point we're all working horrible menial labor jobs where we hate our lives. Yeah. Like Ready Player One. And then when we're not working those 8 hours a day that we're required to work, we live in our simulation world.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're gonna take Roy off the grid. Yeah. This guy's taking Roy off the grid.
I wouldn't doubt that's where we're heading.
Oh my god.
I agree.
It's all so gross. Hey, what you guys want to end off on? What are you looking forward to for 2021?
I hope aliens are real.
Is that what you're looking forward to for 2021, Dan?
Yes. I hope that everything is so bad that that's what the aliens show up for.
Just clean up our shit. They're here to change the diaper.
Just icing on the cake or something. Whatever. They either enslave us, eat us, or save us. One of the two.
Well,
exactly.
Well,
make it better or end it quick.
As far as for out there goes, but for real though, like, is there any kind of like comic books, movies, TV? What's the thing that what's coming up that you're excited about? I didn't mean to rub my head like I'm stressed. I was just saying,
the only TV thing that I'm looking forward to. I know there's a bunch of shows that are coming out that are next year that that could be happening, could be not. But the ones that I know that are coming out for sure. Yeah. I do want to see season 4 of Castlevania.
Okay.
So I'll get Netflix just for that.
Hold on. Season 3 is out.
I think it's out now. Right?
Yeah. Season 3's out.
Is it new? Like right now?
I think it's just now.
No, I think it came out last year. I believe.
Is it the one? I'm just trying to think if I watched it or not because I didn't know there was a season 4.
Yeah, no, season 4 is being made right now.
It's being made.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, so
that's pretty cool.
Season 3 is phenomenal. It's really, really good if you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I think I have.
That's where at the end where he fight. That's that they go to that village.
Hey, hello.
They have the
haven't seen it.
No spoilers. It has a judge in there and everything. So that's
I know that. I have seen
it. Okay. Yeah. So and then also Formula One Drive to Survive. That season's coming up.
That is pretty
next
cool.
year. So
that is your jam.
That is like the race.
It's Formula One driving, and it's like if you don't know anything about Formula One, if you want to get into it, just watch this series. It's incredible. It's so well filmed.
I'll tell you, that's the hook. It's filmed really well.
It's biggest budget shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the slow mo shit and the racing. I mean, just like water droplets have never looked prettier.
It's incredible.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, and also I think for next year, I think I'm just looking forward to being a better drone pilot because I crashed my drone a couple of days ago.
Oh,
yeah,
brutal.
And it was like because it was landing, and I was like, okay, I thought it would because it was landing. They had turned its landing light on at the bottom, and it was coming down. And I'm like, okay, it was coming towards a tree, like neighbor's tree, which had no leaves in it, just like little thin, had no just thin branches. So it's coming down. I don't know why I didn't tap cancel landing. It came down and it just ripped. It went into the tree, ripped the branches. The propellers just ripped into the branch.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then
like a cat.
And, yeah, it went like that, and then it just slammed into a snowbank. And I was like,
"Why didn't you have that on camera? That would have been awesome."
Oh,
Dan put into like Dan's hand motion was what was in everybody's head. It's like
but the whole time I was just looking at it like,
"What do? You just ride it out."
And then I was like, okay, and then it was just into the snowbank, and it was just like that, and then I just pulled it out, and I left my controller on the driveway, and I just went to the house, I wiped it down,
put it in a bag of rice
and stuff like that, and then I found out I ruined one of the propellers. It was just torn.
Are parts expensive for shit like that, or is it pretty easy to replace?
It comes with replacement propellers, but the propellers by themselves, you buy a pack of it, it's like $15 or something like that.
That's not bad.
So, thankfully, the gimbal and the lens weren't scratched or anything like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so next year will be
piloting.
More drone flying, and then hopefully if travel opens up, like it's safe to travel.
Yeah.
Take it to Iceland or take it to somewhere. But travel around Alberta first, and then like film around there.
Do you do much hiking?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd like to do more.
I have a friend that from Georgia, like Eastern Europe, who he takes his drone when he hikes, and he gets like amazing aerial footage of like the lakes and all the mountains and shit. Because they'll catch you because you have to pay a license or something. But he waits for the right opportunities to go out and do it. Right?
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Like he's gotten some crazy footage, and he doesn't know what he's doing, man. He's just like winging it.
We've talked about him a few times, though.
Yeah.
Like in the drone talk, we've actually mentioned him a couple times. But with him, I think like he doesn't have the licensing for the drone weight that he's got, whereas Raj does. So he's got his licensing for his drone.
So he'll be good. He's fine. It's just that they'll want to see it if there's a park ranger guy. They really just ask you, but it's not a big deal. And half the time, he's never run into a guy where he had, He also plays up. He's like, I don't know. I'm from Eastern Europe.
I don't have any clue what you're talking. What is this speak?
He's been here for 7 years.
His English is pretty good.
I should do that with an Indian accent. I'm like, what?
Yeah, man. Just totally, I don't know, man. Like,
no, man.
Nothing's coming, nothing.
I will say I'm looking forward to travel, like, more than anything.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my God, man. I want to get out of here so
I want to get the hell out of here. I don't even care if it's out of, like, just out of Edmonton. Just want to get out of here and just go exploring. And so, Vic, when you get your drone, we can just go. Us three could even just go.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to not being around anymore. Like, just get out of town. Yeah, that is
get some roadies and just get out of here.
Like, you mean like roadies or roties?
No, roadies and like beers.
Okay.
That's what I call them.
Roadies, beers, man. I'm like using like a road crew, or do you want
actually road beers? Yeah.
Unleavened bread.
Actually, you know what? I quit playing Cyberpunk. I returned it. I got rid of it. So what I'm going to do is there's actually an online. A lot of people are going online saying, "Don't play Cyberpunk. Just play Deus Ex: Mankind Divided."
That's the way to go.
Better game.
Yeah.
I got that right here.
Deus Ex is an amazing game. And even because what is that the new one? I always get the titles mixed up.
That's the newest one.
The original one that came out in like the early 2000s or late 90s.
Well,
or something?
there's Deus Ex, then there's Human Revolution, and then there's Mankind Divided.
That one came out. Yeah, that came out in 2016.
Yeah,
and it's apparently a great cult classic.
Yeah. I'm going through them all
I played it a couple of times. It's a great game.
And Mankind Divided
is just way too. It's too much like on the surface and not enough meat on the bone. So,
well, no, hold on. You played Mankind Divided already a couple times?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
I love it. It's awesome. It's a great game.
I just started the first one, so I'm going through them all from beginning to end now.
I watched a couple of reviews, like they're parody reviews, but like of older games, and one of them is of the original Deus Ex, and the synopsis for that game is fucked. It's the year 2019, and a virus has decimated the Earth and destroyed the world economy. I'm like, what?
Okay, if you guys get a chance to look at the first 10 minutes of Brockmeyer's last season, like it came out, they taped it in 20. Brockmeyer's that show with what's his name, the voice of Wiggum from Hank Azaria. He plays a news broadcaster. But they filmed it in like 2019, in like June of 2019. But the first 10 minutes of the latest season 3 or whatever it is just coronavirus. It's like it's riots in the streets, racial disharmony, a virus, and food wars, and there's like toilet paper.
Dude, that's the beginning of Deus Ex. And then the corporations step in to provide vaccines and to run the place. And it's a corporate world government, and it's so fucking weird. And the game is right now. It's supposed to be.
That's weird that you mentioned that, because like I was watching I think I watch it every month, but I watched Akira again. Akira is like basically what's going on in the world right now, and it's taking place of like at the end, because the whole thing is about like the Olympics are going to be held, and there's government uprisings and stuff like that. I'm like, this is exactly what's going on in the world right now. Desecration of our planet. I was like,
monster thing will show up, and that's what will be the icing on the cake is the animated guy. Did he? Did you play Cyberpunk on PS4 or on PC?
On Xbox One X.
I heard Xbox. It's fine.
On the newest Xbox, it's supposed to be, I guess more playable. On when I bought it, there's so many bugs. It would freeze on on menus. So if you're going to a place you have to upgrade your your character, you couldn't get out of the screen. And then like when you're trying to like look at different characters, sometimes their dicks would be showing. That's exactly what happened. And then
the game is just fucked.
Yeah, and then
it's so broken.
There's screen tearing and all that stuff, and I'm like, it renders the game completely unplayable. So I took it back to Best Buy, and I'm like, I was telling Vic, I'm like, I think I was the first person to return it, and I said, and they said you can switch it out for another game. I said, no, this game is broken. Don't sell any of these. And then so finally, I think CD Projekt Red said to everybody, they sent it out to all the retailers. Make sure you give refunds out because the game was unplayable.
Yeah, and Sony wasn't going to issue refunds, and Sony's like, and they were good. The company's like, we'll give everyone refunds. Sony said no, and then everything got worse, and then Sony pulled it off the store.
It's out of the store now.
So they probably alerted all of the hard copy sellers to just like do it.
Well, last week was the first investor lawsuit too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the first mass investor lawsuit saying, "Hey, man, like you basically lied for 8 years."
Yeah, it was pretty sad because because Sony didn't offer refunds first, but now they're offering refunds. They took it off the PlayStation Store, so you can't download it digitally.
Yeah,
Microsoft, you can still buy it on their store because they had the marketing rights to CD Projekt Red to that game, and so
corporatizing gaming, man, and then guess who looks bad? CD Projekt Red, nobody else.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I don't blame them at all for being fucked around by corporate ruling and like finishing in a certain quarter and things getting delayed and like.
No, man, because that's like we talked about already. That's what the industry's heading at. It's just like corporate fingers in all the buttholes, and they're just like playing people like puppets. Hey,
they see the money that can be made in it, and
I want to thank
just fucking rape it.
I want to thank at Backside Attack, and I want to thank at Hansum Dan. I'm thanking you guys for being on the show today. Our year end,
great to see you again, man.
Good to be back, man.
You too.
A good year-end show.
I'm excited to try and do these more often again to get more in the habit of it.
I think you're already back into it, so we'll probably do a bunch more of these together, and we'll do more of these separate. We'll do we'll keep going because it's free.
But I'm gonna do a Terrence McKenna heroic dose of mushrooms on New Year's, so I'll have a story to tell you after.
Yes.
All right. Excellent.
You're gonna
done that.
channel. You're gonna channel McKenna and Paul Stamets, and you're gonna do a shit ton of mushrooms.
Dude, seriously. I've been watching videos all so far about how like the best way to plan that out. It's like a thing you don't just do it. It's not like
no, man.
Oh yeah, because that's a couple of hours they have dedicated to. Yeah.
They're like don't drink, don't have any caffeine for 2 days. Don't eat less salt for the week. Make sure you're working out every day. Like get lots of sleep. They're like this is like a week long spirit quest I'm gonna go on. I think.
Oh, it's excellent.
Oh, nice.
And then I'll just end up tripping out and seeing the color blue for 16 hours.
This is the closest we're gonna get to like a DMT trip. Is gonna be this guy recalling what happened on New Year's Eve. Yeah, I'm totally down for you to be on talk about that. For sure, man. Because
they said it's one of those situations where you do go somewhere where you think you're talking to something else. Like at that point, if it hits the way it's supposed to, you're talking. Like everyone that does it says you feel like you were talking to another real life being and you don't know what it was. You just don't know what's going on. You just fully accept the situation and you have these conversations with these beings and you're like, I know I'm not inside my own head anymore, but what is this? Right?
Where am I at?
Yeah.
Well, we talked about DMT here like last time, and it was we know a couple people who've done it, and one in particular who talked about the toucan, where he was in that room where a toucan put his beak in his head and just fed him pure love.
Yeah, exactly, and that's all it was. It was like all I could imagine it was this, and then so I looked up a couple. Sam Harris has done it a bunch of times.
Yeah,
and he was very good at breaking everything down right methodically, and it was good to see his take on it. I have a couple friends that do way too many drugs, and explain to them my thought process on it. They're like, "That's a really good way to do it. Don't do it this way. Don't go into like they're even for people that just like to party on drugs.
Yeah.
That's how they suggest like you really want to take it seriously and like make it like a meditation thing. So I'm kind of curious to see what the hell's gonna happen.
I've heard first-hand accounts of a couple of friends who've done it who are like really into it. Who are like, yeah, man, that's pretty much the way to go. Like, make sure you're, like lots of water. Don't do it alone. Make sure somebody's sober. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, or like if you're gonna do it alone, do it at home and have somebody that you can call after or check in with you later. Yeah. And like have food later there. Make sure your house is tidy. If stuff that you need isn't missing, so you don't go on a spiral looking for your car keys. Like that's the worst part. People screw themselves because they're like, "Oh, where's my car keys?"
Man,
yeah. I've only done it once. Like Vic, I told you once. I've only done it once. In grade 8. Yeah, at lunch hour.
I'd be so terrified
And
if I was grade 8, man.
I went
During
crazy.
lunch hour.
I went to gym. It was gym class right after lunch, and we're playing floor hockey. And I went crazy. I got into 3 fights, which I started for no reason, and then our coach